DNVR Avalanche NHL Draft live, brought to you by Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. We got AJ and Rudo coming to you live for draft day. 32 picks ahead of us, AJ. Probably a handful of trades. You ready?
I am hopeful that we have a handful of trades, and I'm a little hopeful that
the Avs are one of them.
That the Avalanche are going to be part of that group.
I hope. I don't know how big of a trade it will be, but I hope there at least is one. Put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So, trades are fun. Especially draft pick trades where you're like nobody's life is getting upended.
You say that, and then some banger will happen.
Well, acceptable.
It's the way it goes. Gonna be a fun draft, I think.
I think so too.
The top is pretty set, the first two at least, but you get past 5 and stuff could start getting wild.
You feel like the top 2 is set. You think it's for sure Fantilli too.
I do.
I also, I just don't, I don't know how it's not a fireable offense for Pat Verbeek.
If you don't,
unless he does the Bichkov swing,
the fences. Yeah, I'd be okay with.
If there was one
honest,
team in the top 5 where it made sense,
it's Anaheim.
It's
right?
Anaheim.
I agree. So,
but also, if you had a chance to draft Nathan McKinnon light, wouldn't you just do it?
Just take him. Why not? I would. I mean, I'd also take Mitch. I don't think they can go wrong here, to be honest. Unless they take Carlson, then they're wrong. But
if they take Carlson, we're gonna crush them.
Yeah, it's gonna be
on this show.
You think we roasted the rosters?
Yeah, exactly.
We burned Anaheim
exactly.
down. It's look. Avs have 27 and 31.
We got a ways to go till we get to some guys here. And right now, before this draft even gets, before we kick off, and before
should we do
Connor
these?
Bedard gets to Chicago, let's do these.
Yeah.
In honor, it's our show tradition.
Whatever,
especially the two of us.
Whatever happens with the draft tonight, chat. Let's have some fun, huh? Enjoy it.
Yeah.
We're not Will Smith cosplaying. Will Smith's at the draft, so.
Yep.
I have to dress like a hockey player to cosplay the new Will Smith. That's how it works. AJ, let me start here. We all know Bedard's going first overall.
Yep.
People use the word generationally a little bit too easily.
Yep.
Is a Bedard a generational player?
Yes.
Okay.
He's the best draft prospect since Connor McDavid.
I agree with that.
And he might be the second best draft prospect since Sidney Crosby.
So is the expectation that it's a genuine, immediate, this guy should be a point per game player, year one, NHL?
The only thing that I will say that holds me back from feeling that way right now is who's he playing with?
Who knows in Chicago?
Exactly. Because Connor McDavid dropped into Edmonton.
Had a bunch of other first overall picks around him.
Of four first overalls.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Like, there was an infrastructure that McDavid got dropped into.
Chicago has not a ton going on over there right now, for sure.
And right now, it's like Connor Bedard with Taylor Hall.
Yep.
Which is a good start.
But
what's next?
Especially if that team ends up with, hey, the only guy you have to stop is Connor Bedard. Now, how the rest of that roster builds out, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Connor Bedard and JT Compher down the middle will be fine.
Interesting. Chicago really believes in JT as a 2C.
I mean,
they're gonna find something.
The money
out,
won't bother them because
that's true.
It's not like by the end of the 5-year deal they're about to give him,
it's gonna be that
it's
much.
It's gonna matter, right? Like,
you're not wrong.
Yeah,
but
it just won't matter.
Also, when Compher has a 40-point season as your 2C, might be a little on the low end.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what they do this weekend.
Yeah.
They have to spend a lot of money just to get to the floor.
For the record, this isn't just us anymore. There's been a lot of people connecting Compher to Chicago now.
Yeah.
But
welcome to the club, though.
Yeah, we've been doing it for months.
Yeah. I mean, we look like we built the club and are running it right now. So
Compher's not allowed in.
Bunch of pretenders.
It's one of those things where Bedard has to be the difference maker for Chicago.
Yep.
If Bedard isn't that guy, Chicago could be in a world of hurt.
And I would say, I've said this a few times on our show, but by the end of his ELC, they need to be pushing for the postseason.
Yep.
Year one, absolutely no expectations.
It's year one.
Just go out and have fun.
Chicago's not going to make the playoffs, no matter how well Bedard plays in year one.
they've got to see. We'll see if Korchinski makes that roster.
Yeah.
I expect Lucas Reichel will get a permanent promotion on that roster.
You would think so. He was good enough in his time last year.
Exactly, and that they will really start to lean into some of the youth movement that they've already built. I think getting Bedard kickstarted that. Because if they were sitting at 3 right now and they were staring down the barrel of Carlson or Michkov, they would be in a very different position. And I would be saying they have to take Michkov.
You have to go. Well, they would be another team where the timeline would make sense for that, too.
But because they got the Bedard pick, this entire rebuild all of a sudden is no longer, hey, we're going to take 1 to 3 years to do this.
They hit the turbo button with Bedard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is it's a great way to use the boost to get through.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's happening.
Thanks, Pepe. You go down the rest of this list. Is it really, look, not discrediting Fantilli, not discrediting Carlson, not discrediting some of these other guys. I think they'll all be good to very good to even great NHLers.
Yeah.
But is Michkov the only other true superstar potential talent in this draft?
Not at all.
You think there's more?
I think there's 4.
Fantilli.
Will Smith.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't think it's Carlson.
I really like Leo Carlson. If he ends up Sasha Barkov, is he a superstar?
It's like borderline, right?
Yeah.
70-point guy. How good is he defensively?
If he's Sebastian Aho, is he a superstar?
No, probably not. Think it's probably just short, right?
Okay.
Which, don't get me wrong, you're taking it all the way to the bank if you get that guy in the top 5.
I mean, you're not complaining even a little bit there.
But true superstar caliber players.
But if Colorado, contract irrelevant here, if Colorado called up Florida and said, we'll give you Nathan McKinnon for Sasha Barkov straight up, they'd do it.
Yeah, Florida would do it in a heartbeat, right?
They would do it.
Don't even think twice. And the Avs would look like fools. So.
And so for me, that's the Fantilli-Carlson conversation.
McKinnon or Barkov? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And with Michkov, you're talking about a Kaprizov level of talent.
Yep.
I know there have been some that have tried to go as far as Ovechkin. I think when you're talking about the greatest goal scorer in NHL history, that's a bridge too far for me.
That's a pretty tall ask.
You're setting him up for failure.
Also, he isn't designed the same way Ovechkin is designed.
Exactly. It's just that they're both unbelievable goal scorers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... I mean, it's hard to compare anyone to all-time greats, let alone current NHL great players.
Exactly.
Let's not get too crazy.
Like with Connor Bedard, there really isn't a comparable.
Yep.
He's got the kind of goal scoring that a guy like Austin Matthews has, but at 5'9", 5'10", you wonder about size. Is he going to stay in the middle? The answer is yes, because he is a transcendent talent.
He's one of those players that you look at his game and you go, there are no weaknesses.
The only weakness is that he's 3 inches too short.
But he's played that way his whole career.
It just doesn't matter. Yeah, right, it just does not matter, man.
And that's maybe the most exciting thing to me about Bedard. And, I understand McDavid just had a 60-goal season, but Bedard is a better goal scorer than Connor McDavid, mechanically.
I would say that Bedard, the prospect, was a better goal scorer than McDavid, the prospect.
That's fair. Obviously, the NHL
with
changes
the way
things,
that McDavid has developed, I won't go there yet.
Not that McDavid's shot isn't amazing.
You go 6 years from now, will Connor Bedard have a 60-goal season? I believe the answer is yes.
The thing is, with McDavid, you go down the list of McDavid's talents, and goal scoring probably not even top 3.
I would say 3.
Sure.
I would say the skating and the vision.
I'll give you 3. Not that it's bad, it's incredible, but I think Bedard has the potential to be, like you said, an Austin Matthews caliber, considered potentially the best goal scorer in the NHL at some point in his career.
Exactly, and the thing that he has though is that he combines the high end playmaking of.
Yeah, it's not like that isn't there. Exactly.
Of a Marner, of a Draisaitl, of
Sure.
a McDavid. He's got that kind of that playmaking ability where you look at it and you say 65 assists.
He just processes the game so
perfectly
well.
reasonable.
Yeah.
As well as 65 goals. The guy could have a 60-60 season.
I think he probably will at some point.
That's just the caliber of talent that we're talking about here.
Yep.
He is, he's going to be a superstar in the NHL.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Except for when he's doing it to the Avs in the Central Division for the next decade.
It'll be a lot of fun to watch because this starts Chicago trying to chase down Colorado legitimately.
Yep.
With a piece that, like, Arizona is going to try, of course.
Yep.
But this is the piece that Arizona continues to lack, and Arizona shot themselves in the foot by winning a bunch of games at Mowat this year.
So they draft sixth instead
And
of top
they will be
five,
drafting
yeah.
6 in a 5-player draft.
Yep.
And I really, really, really like the guy that they're probably going to take at 6.
But he's not as good as the guys in the top 5.
And that's without knowing who that is. The list of players that they could take there, really the only one that would have me poo-pooing them would be Matthew Wood at 6.
Look, this is an organization that took Barrett Hayton at 5, so
Yeah.
they could do it.
I just think that it's interesting. You immediately put Chicago's rebuild ahead of Arizona's,
Yep.
and they've only been doing it for a year.
Yep. Sometimes
Because-
that's the way the cookie crumbles,
Hell,
man.
you might have even been able to do it just because of Kevin Korchinski.
And
the fact that Arizona
really
just
like
doesn't-
Korchinski. I do, but
Well, and the Arizona,
yeah,
who's their D?
they went with Lamoureux late in the first last year, and it's not my favorite pick. We'll put it that way.
Well, and Chicago did the same thing with Sam Renzel.
Yep.
They each were like, we've got a bunch of first rounders. We'll take a really big defenseman that we hope turns into a star someday.
A lot of hope there. It's going to be very, very interesting how the Central Division plays out here because there's no two ways around it. Right now, you have Colorado and Dallas on the top of the division, and then you kind of have everybody else.
I think you kind of have you have Colorado and Dallas at the top, and then I think you have a middle class there of
Winnipeg, Nashville, St. Louis,
and Minnesota.
Yeah,
Where
Minnesota
those teams,
for sure.
Those teams you could put in any order today. Wait till Sunday after free agency has taken place.
And they're either in
it
or they're out of it. Yeah.
So there's a lot to happen here. If Nashville is serious about trying to get all the way up into the top 5,
Yep.
And using Yaroslav Askarov as the main piece there. Hey, we've talked about trading UC Saros. Trade the kid.
Yep. It's
and getting the 5th pick. If they were to jump up and get the 5th pick, and they were to walk away with a Matvei Michkov or a Will Smith, that kickstarts their next generation.
That accelerates them.
All of those teams would then be ahead of Arizona.
It sounds like it's going to be pretty hard to get up into that range.
Yeah, of course it should
but before the draft does officially kick off here, we are brought to you by Ibotta. Ibotta gives you cash back on things you already buy, so you don't even have to do anything, really. You're just already purchasing stuff, and Ibotta has you covered. You can earn cash back on every shopping trip that you do. Hundreds of grocery items, from produce to personal care to pantry goods. Either link your loyalty account or upload your receipt after you shop and get your cash back. Just that simple. Check out Ibotta today. The average Ibotta user earns $120 a year in real cash back. It's just like extra $120 in your pocket for using Ibotta. So go check them out. They're offering listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta and using the DNVR code when you register. So it's free money in your pocket. Go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app today with the DNVR code. That's Ibotta, IBOTTA, in the Google Play or App Store, and use the DNVR code to start getting some money back for absolutely free. Also brought to you by the folks over at Bacchus and Schenker. I have a feeling at least one team in the top 10 might be needing Bacchus and Schenker after the roasting we give them, because someone's going to make a mistake.
If it's Montreal taking David Reinbacher at 5, it's them.
And if you are not at fault, excuse me, if someone else makes a mistake that causes you problems, whether it be a car accident, maybe a rideshare situation, if you were riding your bike, you got hit, if you're at work and an accident happened, Bacchus and Schenker can help you out. You can call 222-2222 today to get a hold of them. They'll give you a free consultation. If they think you have a case, they'll take it on for completely free. You pay these guys nothing until you win your case. They just want to get you what you deserve. You can check them out at coloradolaw.net, as well as the 2 number. They've been doing it for an eternity, over 25 years. They've won over $1 billion in that time. So they win a lot of money for their clients, it turns out. I don't know. Everyone in Colorado knows who Bacchus and Schenker is, right? Like,
yep.
My whole life, I've grown up seeing these guys advertise for this. So
I think it's one of those things that subconsciously just gets ingrained in you over time.
Them and like Dealin' Doug is
Rocky's Autos.
Rocky's Autos. Well, they don't exist anymore.
And I drive by one of their empty lots on a regular basis, and it
makes me sad a little bit. Yeah, for sure. So go help yourself get what you deserve with Bacchus and Schenker with the 2 number today. All right. Is it time for Bettman to do his 5-minute long speech now?
And get booed.
Can we get this thing kicked off? Let's do the thing.
If you're in Chicago, how long do you wait?
0 seconds.
You don't even wait for somebody to pick up the phone?
You're shooing Bettman off the stage. Like,
is there a trade that you would consider?
Connor McDavid and plus?
I mean, my answer, it's really like...
Makar plus?
If Colorado called and said, we'll give you Cale Makar, would you at least be like...
I wouldn't just...
We're going to talk to the boys.
I wouldn't hang up immediately.
I mean, I would hang up because I'd be like, this is a prank call. Yeah. Like Eric Andre has crashed the draft.
You'd hang up because Chris McFarland is calling and you're like, what does he know? Looks like a full building. I guess it's day 1. It's day 2 that's usually pretty empty.
Yeah, exactly.
There he is.
David Poyle's just sort of awkwardly standing there.
Yeah, I exist.
Sick. I saw chat asking, we did an entire thing on Ross Colton earlier today.
There's a 30-minute video on our YouTube channel.
We will definitely talk about it as the night goes on, but if you guys are more interested in that right now, that's there for your consumption, or just get to it later.
And it becomes a conversation once we know what else the Avs have done, right? Because there are still some pieces that need to fall in place in Colorado's forward core for things to really become fully clear.
Okay.
Yes, Colton is going to be your 3C in
for right now.
A perfect world.
Yep.
But there are multiple wing spots that they still need answers for.
Yep.
So
we could shift this to... Yeah, I didn't think Dennis Malgin was going to get qualified personally.
It's not that big of a surprise.
Yeah.
For as fun as that month-long stretch was, those guys are readily available.
Well, and it's really just that if he goes to arbitration and he gets
awarded like
$1.3 million,
that's an extra $500K the Avs don't have to spend.
They can't bury the whole thing, so not qualifying him is just smart business.
Yep.
If they wanted to bring him back at $1 million or less, and then
sure. Totally
as long
fine.
as the entire salary is variable, would be the only
They just
thing.
need to make sure that number's right. That's all.
So, I want to ask you.
Okay.
We're gonna operate for a minute under the assumption they make both these picks tonight.
Sure.
What is your ideal? What would be your realistic? Obviously, like a Dmitry Simashev falling to 27 would be incredible, but what would be your ideal, and try to be somewhat realistic about who they end up taking with those picks?
One of Bonker Molendyk and the best forward available.
You don't have a preference there?
I like Riley Height.
I really don't.
I know you don't, but it's too hard for me to depend because Height, I think, makes some sense at 31. At 27, I think you can do better. But when you get to 27, is Molendyk there, and you think he's going to go in the next 3 picks, then you need to take Molendyk there.
Okay. So you want one of the defensemen and then whichever forward is left. So you would take the defenseman first?
Yeah. Unless
it's
you're confident one of the D gets to 31, I would take one of them.
They're both there. Do you take the chance?
Probably. If 2 out of the next 3 teams pick D, take Hrabal. Screw it.
Okay, so you have 27, and then you would have to sit through picks 28, 29, and 30.
Yep.
So you're hoping that both of those guys don't go in a span of 3 picks to get one of them.
And knowing my luck, it would both D would go and Hrabal would go 30, and then the Avs would have to take another forward at 31.
Hey, it'll be 2018 all over again.
Tough. That was tough.
That was a rough draft, man. That was a hard one to sit through.
They actually brought an acoustic guitar out on stage, huh?
I'm so shocked. Did you see that they were giving bottles of whiskey, I think, to the media?
Really?
Yeah.
Like proper bottles or like a shooter?
No, a bottle.
Really?
I
did not see that.
Yeah. I think it's whiskey.
I would assume so. Jack Daniels is in Nashville, right?
I'm assuming that's what it was.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I think my ideal would probably be Molendyk and Hrabal.
Yeah, I'd be okay with it. I don't really care about drafting goalies, but if that's the guy at the top of the Avs list, that's the guy at the top of the Avs list. Is
there anybody that you're really nervous about in that range? Like a guy that you're just I really don't know.
So it's a guy you like.
Oh?
Edstrom.
Oh, that okay, so let's talk about David Edstrom.
Yep.
This is about 22 picks early, but I guess technically the picks haven't started, so anyway. David Edstrom, so we'll talk about him more. I do expect he goes before the Avs get picked.
You think he'll go that early?
I think that there is a Trent Frederick element there.
Okay.
Where you know what you're getting, but you're getting a big guy.
The floor
smart,
is super
and
high,
physical, and he's safe, and you're understanding that you're getting a 3C.
The ceiling is just very hard capped. So
yeah, you're understanding that.
Yeah, and that's my problem. Is look, you're probably getting an NHLer out of Edstrom, but there's a real universe where that dude is a 4th liner, 15-point guy. And he'll bring you good forechecking. He'll bring you good size and physicality. But I have serious questions about his ability to process the game quickly enough to be effective offensively in the NHL.
Okay. I don't think that there's a high ceiling there.
The way I've thought of him after watching a good amount of him is if you took Logan O'Connor and grew him 6 inches and took away 25% of his offensive ability.
Oh, I don't think he's that bad offensively.
I think he might be in the NHL.
I just think that he's a really smart player. And that's where I think you can get we've seen a guy like Pierre-Edouard Bellemare get by on try hard, guile, and smarts for years.
My problem is I think
he's better than that.
I think he's a really smart player on European ice where he has the time to process the game. I don't know if he makes those decisions quickly enough. When he has the time, he's very smart. But I worry about the pace. Okay, we all know what this thing is going to be, folks. Not a complicated one.
I really do appreciate that Chicago's not messing around.
Yeah, just get it in. Let's go.
They got on the clock and they're walking up.
Yep.
Did you happen to see the Man on the Street segment with?
I did not
Kyle
see the Man on the
Davidson
Street. No.
So somebody was walking around talking to people in Nashville, and they didn't realize
that it was the
GM of the Blackhawks.
That's hilarious.
And so they were asking him name 20 hockey players. Or how many hockey players can you name in 20 seconds?
That's amazing.
And he names like the whole 2010 Blackhawks roster. It's very funny.
Just rattles off the cup team.
Well, and they were like, they asked him, do you think it was a conspiracy that the Blackhawks won that they won the lottery? And he was like, no. And they were like, are you confident? He goes, I'm very confident. And looks at the camera in like the most Jim Halpert move imaginable. It was very funny.
That's pretty good. Okay. Do they have a Bedard jersey, you think? Did they put the Bedard on the jersey?
They should have.
That's a lot of phone cameras right there. All right. The only hope to make this interesting is Jesse's theory that Bedard goes up there, refuses to put the jersey on.
That would be fun. That's actually why he's wearing blue.
Yeah.
It's because he refuses to put on their red.
No Chicago red.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Mark this day down. When the Avs-Blackhawks rivalry is in full swing 5 years from now. It started today.
Yep. I mean, it started Lotto Day, but yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong, but...
So, let me ask you this.
Okay.
We're just going to assume Fantilli is second.
I'm running under that assumption, yes.
Is the gap bigger between McDavid and Eichel or Bedard and Fantilli?
If you asked me before this year, I would have said McDavid and Eichel. Now I'm not so sure.
Okay.
I think it's probably still McDavid and Eichel.
Yeah, Jesse and Megan are in the audience, and they're on the in the media section, obviously, and
they'll be talking to prospects on the floor.
One of them should be calling in at some point to chat with us.
Yeah, not sure when, but I think
we should be hearing from them at some point.
I think it's McDavid and Eichel
with the larger gap.
Okay. Even after this year, I think it's McDavid and Eichel.
I think I agree, and that's more to do with the fact that you've been listening to me rant about Adam Fantilli for 3 years.
You were big hype on Fantilli.
Yeah, it was obvious that Adam Fantilli was special when he was a 15-year-old playing for the Chicago Steel and putting up a point per game on a dominant USHL team. Yeah. And he was their best player.
I mean, it is pretty interesting, the comparables there, with both of them being college freshmen in their draft year.
Yeah.
Being the best player on their teams, arguably.
Yeah.
There is, I don't think they are all that similar in play style when you come to Eichel and Fantilli, but
I think Fantilli's. I think Eichel succeeds a lot more with the size.
Yeah.
He does more with it, although they're pretty similarly sized.
Eichel, I don't want to call Eichel a power forward, but I think he's closer to that than Fantilli is.
I agree. I think Fantilli's skating.
Yeah.
The power in his skating, and this is why I make the McKinnon comparable a lot.
And that's like
where I think they're very different. Is that
that's
Fantilli
where Eichel's
plays
like
with pace.
Not that it's a shortcoming for Eichel in his skating, but it's not like a elite strength.
Well, and it's not what drives a lot of the success in his game. Whereas Fantilli is so good playing at really high pace.
Yep. Oh boy! All right. I'm ready for our first trade. Let's start the action.
One pick in, I'm bored.
Let's get this going. All right. It's crazy that he's a 2-time junior gold medalist before he's even drafted.
Could Kyle Davidson be Connor Bedard's big brother?
Definitely, yeah. Definitely. He's the big brother who
Oh yeah, and then by the time they get to 31, it's just Brian Burke.
Yeah, we're going full Brian Burke.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But you're right. Kyle Davidson is Connor Bedard's big brother that like blew out his knee in the AHL and was like, I could have made it.
Yeah, I could have. I could have been there. To go back to our conversation about ideal drafts and stuff, but
crying sister or girlfriend, that's a drink.
pretend this is alcohols.
Dang, look at that draft party. I mean, they knew they were getting
That's
Bedard,
crazy,
so
yeah.
it makes sense, but still.
It's really funny because now the draft party's over.
Right, now they're done.
Yeah, like they're just like, well, I've been to one of those, man. I went to the Nathan McKinnon one where we all got there. 5 minutes later, we're all getting drinks, we're ordering food. They pick him, we all high five, and then we just hung out.
I mean, that's kind of nice on a Wednesday night.
It was great. Well, that was the that year was different because they did all 7 rounds on that day.
Yeah, there was a one day.
So it was like we actually ended up staying for like the whole. It was exhausting.
The Astros take a big swing on a high upside boom or bust type of guy. Who do you think that could be?
Daniil Boot would be the first one that I
think Boo's there at 31. That's kind of height for me. Like, I understand the high risk there. There's a definite bust potential in that guy. You're leaning into the skill and leaning into an organization that you're hoping can get him to engage.
Edward Chalet, I think, is also another one.
I just don't want to draft. I don't believe in.
He's on my D&D list personally. I really don't want that, but I would say if we're talking about boom or bust, that guy either becomes a legit high-end playmaking talent in the NHL, or
he's an
we
AHLer,
never hear from him again.
Yep.
Guys that I don't think will be available to Colorado that I think have a little of that boomer bust. I think
Jaeger.
Sure. I'm just super not so not interested in Braden Yeager.
I want to be.
They'll take him later tonight, and I'll be like, look, guys. This could be amazing.
He's super duper fun when it works.
Yeah.
But you have serious questions about the translatability and the consistency of his play.
I think that Perreault has a little bit of bust in the game. I mean,
Sure.
I think he's undersized and he's played with exceptional teammates. And I think he is a really, really, really fun playmaker. I don't know. I don't know how that will play. I am wait and see on Perreault, and that's why I'm like, I wouldn't take him.
Let that
top
be
15.
someone else's problem.
I would not take him top 15.
See, I wonder. Not that I don't think there's bust potential here, but I wonder some of those same things about Brindley.
I think there's major bust potential with him. Because I think it's fair to wonder about the skill level there. There's a lot of play driving. There's a lot of things that you like.
That's why I think you get an NHLer out of him because of how well he drives play. Again, this is a freshman in college at 17, 18 years old. They actually went with Carlson. Oh, my God.
All right, so we're going to crush Anaheim.
What are you doing?
Is this the greatest gift the Columbus Blue Jackets have ever gotten?
They get to walk up and take Adam Fantilli at 3.
How long do you wait?
Run to the stage, bro.
Okay, so let me have this. You're Columbus. You've made all these moves.
What?
So to try to win now.
Congrats, you get a center.
So you're not tempted by the Mitchkov, even with Fantilli there? You're not?
No, I am taking Fantilli.
Okay.
I am, as Columbus, I
completely agree with you,
running
man.
to the stage to take Fantilli right now. You get to drop that dude next to Patrick Laine and Johnny Gaudreau.
Dude, Leo Carlson at 2 is absolutely
nonsense. It's nonsense.
For me, this is fire. This is a fireable offense.
Yeah, 100%. If I'm Greg Cronin, I'm fuming right now.
Oh, no kidding. Although he will love Leo Carlson.
He will. The defensive acumen for sure. He will be about it. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. The thing about Leo Carlson is that he may not even be in the NHL this year.
I don't know that I
think he should be a San Diego goal.
Which is more of why this is stupid. You had Adam Fantilli, which goes straight into your NHL lineup. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
For me, if you weren't going to take Fantilli and have McTavish
move Zegras to the wing
and have Zegras on the wing, and right. It doesn't make sense to me. Right, if it was either Fantilli or Michkov, you were either comfortable waiting on Michkov
and leaving Zegras at center.
Exactly.
Yeah,
which is fine. He's been really quite good.
I actually like him at center, but why are you replacing him with Carlson instead of Fantilli? I don't get it. They obviously think Carlson's better.
The other thing about Carlson is that if he doesn't play center and he ends up on the wing, you just took a worse wing than what Matvei Michkov will be.
Yeah,
this is crazy. I'm probably watch 5 years from now. We're both gonna look like dumbasses.
Carlson will be a 90-point player.
Yeah, he'll be an incredible player.
Winning
and I'll
Selkies.
Be like, somebody's gonna be like, "Remember when AJ said this was a fireable offense?" I'll be like, "True."
Well, when Carlson's putting up 90-point seasons and Fantilli's putting up 100-point seasons,
right? And that's I think this is actually a pretty fair point because it may not even matter what Carlson becomes.
Yeah.
Because
if Fantilli's just better.
If Fantilli is just better, this is a mistake.
It's not like we think Carlson's a bust. He'll be a very good NHLer.
I think he's going to be a good NHL player. Yeah. This is not a... I would have very, very... Columbus at 3 should be...
over the moon.
Having now, but it had Fantilli gone 2, Carlson at 3 would have been a perfectly fine.
They need a center
constellation. Yeah, exactly. But now you do look around, and Adam, like Leo Carlson's going to be a good player, and we're talking about firing Pat Verbeek and shit, but like, I think that they are passing up on. They passed 2 guys.
It's really
and maybe 3 that we could be looking back as Hall of Fame caliber centers.
I think it's hard to say 3
or one of the true franchise game breaking wings in Matvei Michkov.
I definitely think 2. 3 I think is a hard sell for me.
I think Will Smith is
the truth
is extremely good.
We're gonna find out.
I think that. Had Fantilli gone 2, there was a good argument for Will Smith ahead of Carlson at 3 for Columbus as in need of a center. But now that they're in this world, there's no world. I don't even know what they're waiting for.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fact that the pick isn't in. Do you think there's a team at in the low teens that is we'll give you the moon for Fantilli?
Do you think San Jose is
to
on
move
the
up just a few spots?
Move up 1 spot and get Fantilli and say is calling him up and
what did it take to go from 4 to 3?
Exactly, and saying, hey, we didn't think Fantilli was going to be there. We want that guy.
The problem is. They'd have to be big believers in Will Smith, right? Because I just don't think Michkov makes a ton of sense for Columbus.
I'm confused by this from Anaheim. I
think they just made a mistake.
Maybe a rebuild crippling kind of mistake.
Yeah. The one that extends your rebuild an extra 3 years.
Well, and I also think that we will have to give this one time because I do think that
he very much is a player that in year 5, all of a sudden he's that guy.
Well, so think of Elias Lindholm right now, and everybody loves this guy.
Yep.
It took him years to break out from he's a good 40-point guy, like a solid, this guy's good, to, this guy lived up to what we thought he was going to be on draft day eventually. As a very, very, very good,
but it took
2-way center. It took time.
Yeah, sure.
And so I would say that would be instructive for us of waiting on Leo Carlson. You don't want to. If we're 3 years in and Adam Fantilli
is popping off.
Yeah, is dominating and leading Columbus to heights they've not seen before.
Thank you for the super chats, by the way. D-Grow with $2, our Moisters with $2, and just got here. What did I miss? Not much. And then our Moisters saying, y'all look fly AF. Thank you very much. Columbus, it's right? Has to be.
The only thing that I will accept outside of Fantilli is
Michkov.
Matvei Michkov.
Yeah.
And even then, I think
I just don't. They need a center so badly that it's
and you drop Fantilli between Gaudreau and Laine now,
right?
You do
today,
it now
on October 11th when the season starts.
Good.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
They made the right pick.
All right. He's getting Carlson, and again, I'm going to make this comparison. This is similar to the
McKinnon-Barkov
conversation with Fantilli and
Carlson,
except in 2013 we saw the Avs
go with McKinnon.
Get it right.
Yeah.
They got it right.
Yep.
They don't win the Stanley Cup if Sasha Barkov's in that job.
Are they even in the room?
I don't know. But Adam Fantilli now going to Columbus. This is the first,
hey, look.
This is like an all-time great break for Columbus.
It's a win for Colorado. That dude's in the East now. I get Anaheim's not in the Central, but you see a whole lot less of Adam Fantilli now if you're Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, thrilled about that. Adam Fantilli being between those two guys is going to be.
It's going to be fun.
And with the way that Columbus went and got, have they maybe overcommitted a little bit to Ivan Provorov and Damon Severson? Yeah, I would say probably.
But hey, in hindsight, that makes a little bit more sense with Fantilli dropping right in.
This
for
ended
you.
up breaking perfectly for them. Perfectly for them.
He went with the vest. Wow, it's got like a ton of writing on it too. That's crazy. Is it the Constitution?
Oh wow!
It kind of does. You're not wrong.
It would be really intense if it was the Constitution.
It would be a weird choice.
It'd be yeah. It would be weird. If you guys are gonna throw fake trades into the
look at that,
chat,
they even had a Fantilli jersey
you're gonna
ready.
Get banned tonight.
I mean, it's probably no. We know you guys like to have fun in the chat, but none of that tonight.
Yeah,
we usually let you guys go, but
yeah, tonight that's because we can't be checking anything. We're not going to be doing any of that. You guys can't be doing any of that. I really. This is a great break for them.
I feel like it's an easy team to feel good for too. They've been kind of a long-suffering franchise.
Absolutely.
They deserve good things, if nothing else, because as Chad has mentioned, they're Avs East.
This is great news for the Avs because in 7 years, Adam Fantilli becomes an Av.
Right? Do they make that trade?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it gets there, but Adam Fantilli just became a future Av. Yes. Now I'm really excited about this. What a special player, though, and great size, his skating. His hockey sense, his playmaking.
I really think people underestimate how incredible it is what he did at the college level.
Yeah.
As a underaged kid.
Yeah, well, because we saw Jack Eichel do something similar.
Yep.
We've seen some really good freshman years out of guys, but usually they are D+1 years.
Yeah, right. It's a 19, 20-year-old kid.
It being a draft year, this is why they're showing this graphic right now. It's freshmen.
Yep.
The fact that we saw this twice in 8 years and it hadn't happened in a very, very long time.
Yep.
I mean, it's Korea.
It's not the norm. Well, that's a whole different level.
That's untouchable.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Does Columbus just win the draft day by no fault of their own?
Right now, I mean, two of the three teams should be feeling incredible.
And Anaheim should be feeling real bad.
Well, and Anaheim's like, look, we got Leo Carlson. Like, at the end of the day,
they made the choice they wanted to make.
You've made the decision, and it's like, who do you have as a player? You have a very good player in Leo Carlson.
That's true.
Nobody's unhappy yet, except maybe San Jose.
Yeah. I mean, just take Michkov and be done with it.
Yeah, and this is where the Michkov conversation truly begins.
Yep.
Because those centers are off the board. Now, I will say, because San Jose has really deep ties to
the USNTDP, yeah.
And because they've taken a lot of USA hockey guys over the years,
it's like an egregious amount.
It makes you feel like
they should lean Will Smith.
This is probably going to be Will Smith, and you can understand it. Also, the fact that he's a game-breaking center makes it really easy to buy that.
It's pretty easy to drop him in behind Hurdle for the foreseeable future for them too. But
with Smith, you would be.
He eventually takes the job, probably. But
I guess we could wait till he gets drafted to talk about it.
It could be Michkov, or they could do something dumb.
But I wonder how Adam Fantilli feels. I wonder if he spent this entire time thinking he was going to go to Anaheim, but now he's like,
that's a dude who 3 years from now you look back and it's like he has 20 points in 10 games against Anaheim. Just lets out all his spite on that organization for the rest of his career.
Yeah, right. Has like a Johan Franzen with the Avs level relationship with Anaheim.
Yep. Every night they just going like, all right, so Fantilli's getting 2 tonight. How can we win anyway? Like,
Thank God those guys are out east. Don't have to put up with them. All right, San Jose looks like they
made the pick. Yep. Let's see what it's going to be.
The interest in this in terms of players is about to spike.
Yep, things are about to get interesting.
Yeah.
Especially if they pick Smith, it becomes Michkov. Right?
Exactly.
How far does it go?
I don't think it lasts longer than Philadelphia. Personally, it definitely won't last longer.
I really don't think he should get past Montreal, to be honest with you. But
do you think it's the coolest thing in the world that the Greer brothers are GMs in different sports?
It's kind of dope, yeah.
Oh my God!
It's a long speech. Just make the pick, bud. Yeah. So there are a number of GMs that will prattle on.
Do you remember Tim Murray?
Not really.
The Sabres GM?
Not really. It's
6 words.
We picked this guy. It's the way you should do
it. The Buffalo Sabres select Jack Eichel.
Moving on. They should all be required. They should have a 10-word limit. You go Will Smith?
Okay, so they go Will Smith. I'm sure you guys have seen the chat. They say that it's very loud. Okay. Hopefully it works.
Yeah. Hopefully the levels are better. Keep telling us if they're weird.
Keep letting us know. So Will Smith. I think Will Smith is very, very special. And I think Will Smith would be a potential 1-1 level of player in other draft years. I think he is.
Yeah, I think there are plenty of years where he'd be in the top 2 for sure.
I think he's absolutely unreal, man. You're talking about game-breaking speed, goal-scoring, playmaking. He does everything. Maybe the one thing that you want is a little bit more on the defensive end.
Yeah.
Which is where you could feel comfortable with.
I mean, that's 90.
Leo Carlson going ahead of him.
But that's 90% of forward prospects in the draft is you're asking for more defensively, probably, right?
And the ones that are good defensely, you say, well,
they
how
struggle
good are they
offensively? Exactly, yeah.
Well, didn't we just have the David Edstrom conversation?
Yeah.
But with Will Smith, you are talking about he is extremely dynamic. I would take Will Smith 10 times out of 10 over Logan Cooley.
I would too. Not necessarily because of talent caliber, but because I think Will Smith is a much more complete player. Thank you for the $2, by the way, Jacob. I don't know if I've ever been told that I have drip before, so I'll take the dub.
You've been compared to Coach Taylor and Kenny Powers.
I think
that's such a tremendous.
I think I prefer Kenny
range.
Powers, to be honest.
Such a tremendous range of television characters.
You got
Both amazing compliments. Amazing. I'm sad I look like a Blues Brother because I wish I looked like Kenny Powers.
Should I grow out the mullet?
Yes.
Goals are better than not goals. It's true.
So Will Smith, my question with Will Smith is, what's the timeline?
Yeah. Are you realistically looking at 2 years here?
And this is where I think the Michkov conversation is interesting. If it's 2 years,
are you willing to wait one more for Michkov?
Is the difference between that 1 year the same long term as the difference in caliber of talent between Smith and Michkov? Now, the one thing I will say about Will Smith and why I have no objection here is that he's a center.
Yep.
And because I'm a major believer here in the fact that he could be one of the premier playmakers in the NHL.
San Jose needs centers. Yes, they have Hurdle, but he's going to age out as that contract goes on. You have a Logan Couture who's going to be 38 by the time Will Smith is rising to the top of that list. So we say this every year, but centers just have more value on draft day.
Exactly.
They just do.
Exactly. And when you have one with such a game-breaking ability as him, is he kicking Emily Kaplan game right now?
I didn't hear what he said, so.
Please don't. But also, back to our conversation.
Look, nothing wrong with liking older women, all right?
No, okay. I'm sprinting away from this. Just don't do it while she's at work, man. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair.
Let's have some respect.
That's fair.
I think also with the conversation with Montreal, obviously we're on Michkov watch. Every pick.
Right.
We're
From
on
here
Michkov
on out
watch.
until he gets picked.
But this is also the beginning of, okay, we've had 4 centers go.
And you now.
Where are we getting a defenseman?
You're moving away from centers. I don't know if I'd go with a defenseman before 8, but we'll see. Maybe Arizona would like one at 6. You look at this list now, and to me, this is where lists diverge, right? 6 to 10, a lot of teams are going to have a lot of different guys at 6.
Yeah. 2 years ago, had you told me that Matvei Michkov would be sitting here available at pick 5, I would have straight up slapped you. Slapped you.
So we've already heard allegedly Askarov 15 and 24.
Yeah, not enough.
Wasn't
to get
enough
to
to get here. Is there anything that could pry this away from Montreal? I mean, picks in, so no, but.
Yeah, seems like it's not happening. Seems like they're getting up and going. So, no deal there.
Yep.
Look, for me, the correct pick here is Michkov. He's the best player. Yes, you're waiting. But you are now at the point where any other player that you draft here is not a quick guy into the NHL.
Are you trying to talk yourself into Dvorsky as a center?
Yeah, well, he is going to be a center. I think he's going to be a good one.
But I'm saying,
and
is that the conversation of you want the center instead of Michkov?
Yeah.
Because I think if you take a winger, you're just making a mistake. If you take a winger that's not Michkov, I should say. But.
If Ryan Leonard is the guy here,
you'd be okay with it?
First of all, nailed it in the very first mock that we did together. We get to high five about that.
We get a couple of things right every year.
All right, let's see. Oh God, I forgot.
Yeah,
he's got to give a speech.
He's got to do
languages.
it in French. Also, it's got to be. How accurate was Petey's accent in our mock?
It wasn't bad, honestly.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
It wasn't bad.
Who's making your selection? Some random guy?
Good Lord, dude. This is the one thing about the NHL draft that I just can't stand. Just pick.
Yep.
Just stop it with this silly pageantry.
Don't send the whole organization up there. Just send up your guy. Have him make the pick. Go with the defenseman?
Reinbacher,
bud. Okay, it is Reinbacher.
All right. So this is where I struggle because I'm not convinced that David Reinbacher is a top pairing defenseman.
I don't think he's a top 5 talent for sure.
I will tell you, when you look at Reinbacher, ask him. But for me, okay, that guy should not be wearing that hat. whatever munchkin he's hugging right now should not be wearing that hat. I don't know who let that man leave his hotel room like that. My God, man.
This,
bro.
Am I surprised? No, because this happens every year where a defenseman just rises outrageously up the draft.
So,
but
I'm sorry. The small person got me.
He clearly.
What can't David Reinbacher do?
I don't know that there's anything he can't do. It's just how high is the ceiling, right?
Okay, but if he's right-handed, he's a very, very good skater.
Yeah.
He's 6'2". He plays in all situations. You just said there isn't anything he can't do. So
the problem is,
what's the downside here?
The problem is there's nothing he can't do. I don't know if there's anything that he does great.
This conversation's going really quite the way I wanted it to, because exactly.
And if this guy
How
becomes
valuable.
a 35 to 40 point guy on your second pairing,
So if he's a 40-point guy that plays in all situations for you,
you feel good about it.
and
but
he's a good, solid top pairing guy, but you're not elite, how good is your defense going to be? If he's your best defenseman, how good is your defense?
That's not good enough to be your best defenseman, because that's Eric Johnson.
Okay.
Right?
Did they just doom themselves to an Eric Johnson
being
career?
their number one? And the Avs know all too well how that goes. As
That's my problem with him at 5.
We have our top 5 here for you on our
This
on our
is my
draft
problem
board,
with him at 5. I would have liked him at 6 to Arizona, who don't have anybody. I would have liked him at 7 to
even
Philadelphia.
at Arizona. At 7, I feel starting at 7, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
I think that. So I want to stay on Reinbacher, but I'll just tell you, Ryan Leonard should be the guy in Arizona. Ryan Leonard should be the guy.
You're about it.
He should be the guy, 100%.
You don't think they have time for Michkov?
I don't think that organization can take the chance, because Matvei Michkov is going to have an abnormal amount of leverage.
It's very
and the uncertainty surrounding that organization and its future right now.
Very easy for Michkov to say no.
I would just say,
I
look,
get that.
we're just not gonna mess with this. We're not gonna give ourselves another headache. We're gonna take an extremely projectable guy in Ryan Leonard that is good and safe, and is not a junior player. As a going to be college player, they can wait a couple of years for them to figure out the arena future and what's coming next for that organization.
Things be a little bit more
to
solidified.
sell guys on it, because we saw Logan Cooley did not come out of
Wanted
college
to stay another year
because he
of
didn't
it,
want to
yep.
play around and mull it next
Yep.
year, and he wants to see what's going to happen with the organization.
Yep.
So I think that you are having a different conversation there. I want to stay on Reinbacher for a minute, though.
It's fine.
Because Reinbacher, I really, 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 really like him. I think this is a bad call by Montreal. I think it's 2 years in a row they've messed this up.
It's the difference of where he gets picked, right? If someone
imagine getting a GM job and having the first pick and the 5th pick, and the two things that you do, you pick a wing and you pick a safe defenseman.
Yeah.
With I would say limited offensive upside. I think he could be a very, very good defenseman.
But if you're getting a very, very good defensive D at 5, it feels a little lackluster.
I mean, ask Florida how they felt about Eric Goodbranson at 3.
Yep.
That's your fear, right? Is that you're getting a guy who's too limited offensively. I think his offensive game, I'm not worried about it projecting or translating into the NHL and being good for 30 points every single year.
Again,
you're talking about 5th overall when there are some guys, Matvei Michkov, Ryan Leonard.
Look, if you have a top 5 pick, you should be picking what should be the future of your franchise.
A true franchise player here. Yeah.
And that's the problem here. Reinbacher at 10, I'd feel great about.
I mean, Washington taking Reinbacher at 8 would have been a wonderful
great. It would have
pick.
been great. Exactly. But at 5, you just feel like it's a little bit lacking.
I agree with you. I have 2 picks tonight that have made me wonder.
2 out of 5 are questionable already. Yeah.
That have made me wonder. I just don't. I wonder if teams have just gotten a little too cute here.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Are you gonna give me are you gonna throw a dart for this Coyotes pick now that they're heading up to the stage?
Do I have to?
I mean, I've got Ryan Leonard, Dalibor Dvorsky.
All right, based
are the
on
2 guys
based
that I'm
on
going
Logan
with.
Cooley, they're obsessed with small guys. So Zach Benson,
Oof, man, that would be. It would take.
some stones.
It would take some to take Zach Benson over Ryan Leonard, in my opinion.
I wouldn't do it, but
So how do we? You and I. Do we want to have this conversation on air?
who wore it better, us or them?
Yeah, chat. Let us know who wore it better, Rudo and I tonight, or the Coyotes front office.
I've never been a fan of whatever color that is suits.
He just called them the Vegas Knights.
He sure did. How big do you think their draft party is?
You were there last year.
Yeah, I mean the PHNX one was popping,
Oh, true.
but
I
the
forgot
actual,
those are different.
Yeah. Okay, they went Michkov. Oh no, they went Simashev. Sorry, that's crazy. I actually don't hate it though.
Bro, let me tell you something. This is an organization that needs defense.
Yep.
I'm good here.
I'm
good with
I
this.
have no problem with this.
I'm good
pick
with this
also.
because that kid, Dmitry Simashev,
Well,
he is 6'4". He skates.
This is
He skates wonderfully. Wonderfully.
this.
Not wonderfully for his size.
He's a great skater.
He is a great skater who happens to be
It's-
6'4".
This is funny because had Montreal picked Simashev, I would have said, okay, they swung for the fences here.
Yep.
They went for a guy that could be that guy.
I love this point. I love this point so much.
So I do not mind this from Arizona.
Because this is a guy that is projectable in terms of this could be an absolute dynamite
Yep.
two-way defenseman. Look at him.
And like,
He looks like Godzilla.
keep in mind,
He's huge.
Keep in mind over the next like 3 years that kid's gonna put on 40 more pounds. Like,
Look at him. Seriously, once he starts eating cities, he's going to add a whole bunch of man strength. And he skates like the wind, man. He's got such unbelievable potential. Unbelievable potential. This is, to me, and knowing that they pick at 12. So this is a contained
Right.
risk.
they'll have a forward to take at 12.
Knowing that they just helped push forwards closer to their next pick with that decision, this is exactly what they need to be doing. This isn't safe. This isn't them getting super cute. This is them going for
Well,
it.
and this
rocks.
this is
what the Arizona Coyotes have not had the balls to do for a really long
And
time.
on top of this, it also shows faith in their organization of they believe they can get that guy out of Logan Cooley in the forward side. They believe this Barrett Hayton breakout is going to continue to move in the right directions.
Yeah.
And this solves their arguable biggest need.
How many times have we talked about Arizona? And I keep asking you, who's their D? Who's going to be the guy for them?
Yep. Might be Dmitry Simashev now.
And now you have a guy that you think that you can build around.
Yep.
Could this blow up in Arizona's face?
Definitely.
1,000%.
Definitely could.
He could end up just a smooth skating,
Bottom pair,
big guy
yeah.
who couldn't put it all together.
He could be Tyler Myers.
Oh, the Chaos Giraffe. If he ends up the Chaos Giraffe, that hurts.
Yeah.
But this is I love this because they pick again at 12.
Yep.
So they will still
They'll
have
get
an
a forward
opportunity
somewhere. Yeah.
Still have an opportunity. Hell, you could be setting up to take a Sandine Pellikka at 12 or a Tom Willander at 12.
I don't know that I'd go DD, but sure.
And that changes the total. How much did it change Colorado's immediate future when they went Cale Makar, Connor Timmins back to back?
You're not wrong.
And they said, well, walking into it was who's going to play defense for this organization?
Going 4 to 32 is a lot longer than going 6 to 12.
And but what I'm saying is that they will have an opportunity. They will have an opportunity though to make a decision like that where they could just say, "Hey, we're good now.
Yep.
We've invested in this position." And they just went with Simashev, who is the one defenseman in this draft that you can look at and say has an absolutely massive
The
ceiling.
ceiling is
The exact opposite of how I felt
Yep.
about David Reinbacher. He's really good right now. My concern might be that he's close to maxing
if
out.
Simashev hits, he's a true number one.
If Simashev hits, he's an all-star.
Yeah. Yep. It's wild how differently we feel about those two back-to-back picks.
It really, and it's funny because had they made them in opposite order, I would have.
You'd feel better for both.
I would be glowing about both.
Yeah.
Because I would have loved the decisions about both of them.
Yep.
Yeah. And Zadorov was a first-round pick.
Yep.
For a reason. And P.S. Nikita Zadorov, I don't know if you guys have looked.
Was kind of really good last year.
But
yeah.
he had a phenomenal year in Calgary last season. So, is it top pairing defenseman stuff?
No.
But he had a very, very good year last year. So, I will just say, I love that they went for it there. It may not work. But this is how
you have to take those chances sometimes.
This is the exact opposite of the Barrett Hayton over Quinn Hughes decision that they made. They played it safe.
And they
went
paid
for
the price.
They went for a position of need with the guy that they had talked themselves into.
Yep.
Probably because of character reasons, because the guy's Hayton's interviews were awesome.
Everybody
that year.
loved him.
And it spiked his value at the combine. But with Simashev, this is the Arizona organization putting their balls on the table for a guy and saying, we're trying to get out of this.
Yep.
And it opens up Philadelphia. This should be Matvei Michkov.
It would. Washington's taking him if you're not, right? Like
the funny thing would be he gets to 12. Arizona gets both.
If he gets to 12,
they go Russia.
Are there not like 15 teams blowing that phone up to try and get there?
We talked about the value.
Yeah.
Of Colorado combining their two picks.
It's about 12, yeah.
It was about 13, 14.
Sure, close enough, yeah.
But you feel like you could probably bridge that gap.
Yeah. You want
Would you? Well, we'll see. We'll see who Philadelphia
let's
takes
see
there.
who they could take.
I would just like to say Brian Leonard is a perfect Philadelphia Flyer.
100%. There he is, Keith Jones. How long do you think he survives? A while?
Keith Jones?
Yeah.
3 years.
That's reasonable. Danny B. People struggling to make picks out there tonight. All
There you
right,
go.
it is Vichkov, yeah.
Great. I love that.
Yep. The value
You're talking
proposition
about
just becomes too much at a certain point. Yep.
This is not very often do you make a pick at 7 and say,
We got a top 3 talent.
first of all, you could have just gotten an absolute superstar.
Yeah.
Second of all, you probably just took the second most naturally gifted player in the draft.
Yep.
You just got to wait a while.
Yep.
I love this. And, one of the reasons why I think Philadelphia feels empowered to make that decision, a brand new regime.
Fresh slate. Yep.
Brand new regime, not trying to save jobs.
Yep.
They're thinking, what are we
Just
going to
make
get
the best
in 3
move
years?
available.
What
Yep.
are we going to get in 3 years?
Do we know how his English is?
I don't. I have
Me
no
either.
idea. I have no
I'm
idea.
asking, does anyone know?
I think
Like,
it's really interesting he came out of hiding to go to the draft, though.
yeah.
I say came out of hiding. He wasn't in hiding. I'm kidding.
But you do see that fairly regularly with Russians that won't show up at the draft.
You are talking about here, though, like this is. I feel like I don't know how to talk about Matvei Michkov without it coming across as hyperbole. Because I think that he has the kind of potential
I mean,
that you see in guys that go into the Hall of Fame.
I think
he's had the kind of junior career,
it's the same
underage career, I guess.
It's the same conversation that you kind of had with Will Smith. In a different draft year, under different circumstances, you're talking about this guy going 1.
A lot of draft years, he would have gone 1, and it wouldn't have been close.
Right.
If Matvei Michkov had not signed a 3-year extension,
Yeah.
we would have been debating Adam Fantilli versus Matvei
At 2,
Michkov
yeah.
at 2, and when they took Leo Carlson, we would have crushed him even more.
Yep.
This should be the easiest pick Danny Briere ever has to make.
Pretty much. Walk to the podium and take the guy that's there.
Yep. I mean, he's a little bit small. His offensive instincts, his creativity, his puck skill, his shooting, it's all
elite. Yeah.
It's all elite. The one thing about his offensive profile that you don't love is his skating. He is not a game-breaking skater.
Well, and look, a team like Philly doesn't exactly fly up and down
I
the
would
ice.
say I would even go so far as to say he might even be a little bit below average.
Okay.
Everything else about him is absolutely game-breaking offensively.
When you're that good at everything else, you can get away with the skating, right?
And
Like,
we've seen skating can get better,
at least
a
somewhat.
lot better than natural creativity. And as it is with all high-scoring wings, you are going to have a conversation about defensively. He's not going to give you
Of
anything
course.
right now.
He's a winger. He plays offense.
His translator looks like one of the extras from Queen's Gambit.
His translator looks like the Russian character from Durarara.
I don't know what that is.
I know. It's an anime.
I was going to say, is it an anime? Okay.
I think one you might actually not hate, for the record. But
Okay.
he certainly looks pretty comfortable speaking in front of a camera.
Let me ask you this. If you were a translator, would you translate properly?
Depends. I feel like I would, but like if Michkov runs up there and starts saying "Suka Blatt," I would not translate that accurately.
Okay. So you have a line?
Yeah.
All right. So you wouldn't just mess around and be like,
Depends on how well I know the kid, I guess. You know,
like, oh, he just said that he thinks the city of Philadelphia is total trash. He doesn't even know what a flyer is. Cheesesteaks are garbage. How did that become your whole identity? And then just like walk off.
on national television, no, I would not do that.
Okay. All right. Cool, man. I was just curious. Somebody that likes to create trouble, you know. Just wondering.
This is why AJ will never be a translator.
That's the reason.
That's
it's not my lack of knowledge of other other languages. Yeah. All right, so now, I mean, Matvei Michkov watch ends right around where I thought it was going to.
Well, look, and now I don't want to say the draft begins, but now you have a whole lot of different guys you can consider in the next 4 or 5 picks.
Reinbacher, Simashev at 5'6" is not something anybody thought. That started the draft.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Now you've got the last, like, this is the big talent here.
Yep.
Ryan Leonard's now your top guy sitting on the board.
Yep.
And Washington, I mean, Washington's got to be a little disappointed because they could have really used a defenseman.
So, well,
And right now, I feel like any of the other D,
right.
you're talking about reaching for somebody.
I wouldn't, but do you think someone chases Wallander or a Pellica?
I wonder more about Wallander because of the size.
Sure.
I wonder just because and Sandin Pellica, for a guy with the reputation as an offensive defenseman, people are pretty split on whether or not he's going to run a power play. So what do you do in the NHL? Who are you in the NHL?
Yeah, I think I like him more than you do because I do think he's one of those smooth skating D that you kind of make function no matter what.
I like him. What does he become is my uncertainty here.
How high is that ceiling, I guess?
But I think this is an easy, I'm going to say this until he gets picked, but it should be Ryan Leonard.
How far is he going to fall? Let's see.
He didn't.
Exactly nowhere. Yeah. Again,
so
hard to fault taking the top guy on the board.
Totally. And when you're not expecting to be there in the first place, Washington wasn't planning on picking this high.
Yep.
This is an easy one.
Yep.
This is
a good time for me to go probably since you're going to gush about Ryan Leonard for 2 minutes.
Sure.
So.
Well, I can talk about Ryan Leonard for a couple minutes.
I'll be back in a minute, Chet. You know how it goes.
I like that everybody just understands that Rudo gotta go.
This is who you hired, man.
So Ryan Leonard is, in hockey terms, kind of a bastard. Because he will make life absolutely miserable. If you get anywhere near a puck, he's coming for you. Like, you know when coaches talk about hunting pucks? Like Ryan Leonard wakes up hunting pucks. He goes and he gets it. He plays with a real edge to his game, a lot of power. It's all power and it's I'm going to the net and I absolutely dare you to stop me. He's very talented offensively and there's a lot to his game. There are a lot of elements to his game. But the biggest thing is his competitiveness. Is he absolutely is just I don't even know why he's smiling. He should be trying to eat Gary Bettman right now. He's that kind of guy. He's just he goes and he gets you. He makes life miserable for you. He is that very, very classic playoff style player. He's going to rack up points. He's going to be a good player in the regular season. He's going to be a good player for the Caps. He's going to be a fan favorite and all that. But when he gets into the NHL postseason and the Stanley Cup is on the line, there's a different level there. And I think it's fair to wonder the playmaking isn't really special. He got to play next to some really, really, really good players. So you wonder how high the offensive potential is, but he's just a guy that will just eat your heart out. He's ultra physical, ultra competitive, and I think he's great. I love his game. I don't know if he's a top line player. You would probably have to sell me on that, but I think he's going to be a really, really good player. Welcome back.
Thank you. I don't know what you said, but
all the things that are the key skills on ESPN's screen. He's the tryhard, man.
Well, the thing with Leonard is if he gets there, he could be that power forward in the NHL.
I think he's closer to Tom Wilson than Matt Tkachuk. I don't think he's got that kind of skill.
And I think that's fair, and that's why he didn't go top 5. But if you're dreaming on him, that's what you're looking at.
Oh, boy.
You getting messages over there?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. In the meantime, are we all ready to boo this next pick, no matter who it is?
Oh, is it Detroit?
It is Detroit.
I mean, it's definitely Sandin Pellica.
Just because he's the Swede? Is it? They could pick Dvorsky, I think. I could see them going Dvorsky.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to
I know.
make sure.
You're doing your stuff. You're good. You're good. We'll see, though. The thing...
Okay.
How much of a difference
We're good.
in perception is it picking top 10 versus picking 11? Because in reality, there's not that much difference in those two picks, right? But
Tell that to the 2011 draft.
that's what I'm saying.
Jonas Brodin versus Duncan Siemens. How different is Colorado's trajectory if they have Jonas Brodin?
Yep.
And
Ancient
Minnesota
history
takes
now, though.
Duncan Siemens.
Ancient history now.
Just saying, you know. All right. So Detroit, where are they? How do you feel about their rebuild? Where do you think they are?
I think they're nowhere, to be honest with you.
All right, so we would agree below Buffalo.
Yep.
Where are they in relation to Ottawa?
Ask again on July 2nd.
So after Alex DeBrincat is traded from Ottawa to Detroit?
Right.
Got it. Got it.
But I do worry that Detroit might be hurtling towards
Mediocrity?
the Minnesota zone. Yeah.
Yes. This is what I want to hear. Lucas Raymond, 40 points.
Ooh, they could go Willander rather. That would not surprise me at all.
Oh, the only thing is that they've drafted
They have drafted a lot of
many
D.
defensemen
You're not
in
wrong.
recent years.
But we've seen teams stockpile and then move those assets in the past. So
Colorado. You know, I wrote today. I guess it was this morning because it was like 2 a.m. There was a time Cale Makar, Connor Timmins, Drew Hallison, and Justin Barron were all in the same organization.
Yep.
All on the right side.
And yet they got value. You're getting old, Steve. Nate
Okay,
Danielson,
so-
huh? Okay.
If Steve Yzerman loves Nate Danielson, it makes me feel good for also loving Nate Danielson. So this is a little early for him because I'm not sure that the offensive upside is there. But in terms of a guy that's going to be a pivot in the NHL and is going to give you good two-way play, he's that guy.
It's another one of those
He's a
guys where
big-
you wonder
big
about
body.
the ceiling.
Big body two-way guy. I am a little shocked he goes before Dvorsky.
Look, I guess if you're talking about an organization who's committed to Larkin for the foreseeable future, you kind of look behind him for some lockdown play, I guess. I'm with you. I think at this pick, you're getting less value. I'd have gone with Dvorsky if I wanted a center
I
here
would
for
have gone
sure.
with a couple of guys before Danielson, and I like Danielson. But so this is a guy that this is a really good hockey player.
Sure, like
Where I'm struggling is that he was now drafted in the top 10, and I guess I'd never really felt that way about him.
well, look, you're going to get an NHLer out of him, but how do you feel about this pick if he becomes Tyson Jost?
Yep, fair enough. Because that's where if that offense doesn't pop in the NHL,
Right,
it's a very fair world that they're living in. The big thing there is that I think he's a true legit
Better defensively.
Well, he's a legit center
Okay, fair.
and won't have to get moved to the wall. So I think Nate Danielson's a good player. They're not swinging for the fences here. They're just trying to get a solid NHL player out of this kind of
and that's
pick.
how you build a mediocre hockey team.
Well, and I think that that's what they're going to get. And we'll see. I mean, we're in year 6 of the Yzer plan or whatever, and I think you're starting to cast just a little bit of doubt.
They got to turn that corner at some point, right?
Exactly. Like you've got to at least come close to the postseason at some point.
Yeah.
Although I'm good if they don't and continue picking 8th and 9th every year. We don't have to worry about them winning a lotto.
That's true.
I love where they are right now. I don't think about them. ever until they play each other, and I get a
You
hate
hate
boner
them for
on,
one night, yeah.
and then the hate boner goes away, and then the draft starts and comes back, and then all right, we're on to St. Louis, so now the hate boner is just in a different place.
Any rank 30 to 50 players that you can slip into the top 25 of the draft?
Always.
One will happen, I guarantee it.
Always. There's always a big reach somewhere.
Molgard or somebody.
If somebody takes Oscar Fisker Molgard in the top 25, that is a fireable offense.
I'm with you.
Jay O'Brien all over again.
Someone might do it.
It's Jay O'Brien 2.0, man.
You could pick one of the defensemen in that range. I don't know.
You heard me. The hate boner. It's where you get your hate on. Only lasts for like 10 minutes. And then you move on.
Get it all out and you're done.
Yeah. If it lasts for longer than 4 hours, you really need to see a doctor.
St. Louis at 10, what do you do if you're St. Louis? You kind of need everything. Except for goalie, I guess.
No, I mean, they need...
Not that you're picking a goalie here anyway, but...
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not a conversation until the 25 and on,
Yeah.
I think. But, yeah, I think right now they have to be sitting here annoyed that the defensemen...
The D are gone,
Those
yeah.
two D are gone. That's an organization, they need it.
Can they
And
talk themselves into Willander or Pellica here?
I think Sandy and Pellica would be a bad fit for the moment.
I think
for their current NHL roster, but long term, they're going to need an actual quality puck mover.
The thing, if they're trying to keep what they have together, Willander makes more sense. If they're trying to heavily retool, maybe you could talk me into Pellica.
I just don't. I don't see a major difference in those guys. Honestly, it's just which guy's upside do you prefer? Do you want a guy that's going to give you a little bit more? Do you want a right-handed guy with a little more size, or do you want a guy that you really think could be a really good puck mover?
And I say all this, they could easily take it forward too.
Let me ask you. Oh, Dalibor Dvorsky would actually, be a great fit there.
Sure.
You know, it's too early for him, but Samuel Honjek would be a classic.
That would be a
Blues
very
pick.
Blues pick. You're right.
Classic Blues pick.
That would be a reach, though.
And with they have 3 first-rounders tonight. They don't need to mess with that.
Yeah. Do something dumb, St. Louis.
The Avs are not allowed to draft Bradley Nadeau for a couple of reasons, but one of them is the fact that he spells Bradley wrong, and I would have to learn how to type it.
They have enough names that have weird letters missing or included in
The
them.
trading of Philip Grubauer was such a victory for me.
We still have Arturi Lehkonen, though.
When I typed his name last night, I double-checked it.
All right. So we made it through the first 10 without a trade. Not really that surprising, but
Yeah, you very rarely see those picks get moved anymore. There's been a couple of 7th overalls that have gotten dealt, but
even that's fairly rare, yeah.
yeah, you don't really see a lot of these moved. So
Don't see anyone on the phones on the random shots they've been showing out there, but well, they brought a small child on stage.
Hell yeah.
Everybody panic.
do you think this whole thing is so dumb?
Yes. I've never been about the pageantry and all of that stuff, though.
This is one of those things where I'm like, the other leagues, it just makes more sense. Like the commissioner goes out and like says whatever. I love what the NFL has done,
Where they go straight through.
where they have like the fan or they have like a classic player. So it is Dvorsky, which makes all the
It
sense
makes
in the
sense,
world.
yeah. I have no problem with the pick. I think it's a good pick, especially at 10, let alone it being St. Louis.
It's like, so Dvorsky's interesting because it's a lot of international stuff that is driving that bus.
Yep. Small sample sizes can be a question mark there.
Well,
for sure.
and it is one of those things that's interesting with, we're going to talk about this with Otto Stenberg later in the draft.
Closer to the Avs pick.
But when guys are playing
against their peers,
when guys are playing against their peers who have been playing in pro leagues, it's a little bit different.
They have some juice that maybe some other guys might not.
Yeah, well, and you need to see certain levels of performance, and that's always kind of the. It's funny because you say, oh, with a guy like Adam Fantilli, don't make too much of an international thing. But then you look at a guy like Dvorsky and you say, well, look at his international play.
Yeah.
Look at him. Guy looks incredible for Slovakia.
Yep. He's also, Slovakia has very few other options, so.
There had been some growing Nate Danielson to Vancouver conversation. And so I'm curious where they pivot to.
If they have to scramble a little bit here, maybe.
I will tell you, this is where Willander starts to make
more and more sense.
Yeah. Because that's a team that Sandin Pellikka does not make a lot of sense for.
You have Quinn Hughes already, right?
When you have a dominant offensive defenseman, you don't really want to double up on that.
Yeah.
Even if that's the most talented guy there, like you're looking to diversify skill sets.
Yep. Agree.
So the Blues, I actually, I hate that I like this for them.
And yet you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's good size. Just like a smart player, quality player.
Not that it's to that level, but you're talking about an organization that is about to lose Ryan O'Reilly. You're hoping
he's gone.
In a handful of years, Dvorsky probably replaces some of that.
Well, he's going to, you look down the middle, they just got Kevin Hayes.
Yep.
There's your 1-to-1 in 3 years when that deal expires.
Fair point.
As 3C,
Yep.
He's a guy that I wonder, what would you do with him? Would you just leave him in Sweden to play in the SHL
this
for
first
a year?
Yeah, for sure.
And then just go from there? Okay, well, he tore up the SHL.
Yep.
We can bring him to the AHL now?
I mean, you sign him and you say, hey, training camp, you got a shot. What do you do,
Okay, all right. Yeah, I think leaving him in Sweden right now. Top 10 picks born in Slovakia.
Not a ton of them.
It is interesting, though, in the last 3 years. Kind of the same thing we saw with Germany.
Yeah. I think Nemec still sucks, though, but that's okay.
I think Slavkovsky is going to be a good player.
Not live up to the pick, yeah.
But one overall, I wonder if we look back at him as one of the weaker first overalls in the decade.
All right. Pick 11. Can we get some action? Why would Vancouver ever trade the pick? I don't know.
So, from the Avs trade up perspective, we're not quite in that range yet.
Yeah,
but
you need a couple more at least. But
there also isn't a name at the moment that I would say that I'm hankering for and having that conversation.
Me either. I don't know that there's one that I'd be willing to give up both firsts for, certainly.
Zach Benson was the guy we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
I also will tell you, if they get to 15 and Oliver Moore is still there, I'm going to start getting antsy.
Oh, boy.
More because I think Oliver Moore is just a wonderful, wonderful fit in Colorado.
Sure.
And the questions about his offensive upside, I don't care about.
You can just
for
live
the
with
Avs.
them, yeah.
Exactly. I just don't care. So those are the two guys that if we're going to live in they should package these and go get a guy. Benson and Moore are the two guys that I would
you're
say.
keeping eyes on.
Yeah, keep eyes on.
Can we please have someone take Callum Ritchie so I don't have to worry that the Avs might?
So what's your thing? What's your thing with him?
What isn't my thing with him?
Okay.
His ceiling
Wow.
is not an NHLer.
So it's one of those tiny houses where that guy with the bad hat earlier lived?
Yeah.
Just crushing that
I
poor
have to
man.
duck to get through the front door. Like,
That guy sure does it. I'm 5'6", talking shit about a dude's height. Unbelievable. So Vancouver, is it weird? I saw somebody say no trades so far is weird. I don't think it is
it's
yet.
that weird. If you get
Yeah.
to 20 and there's none, it starts getting a little weird.
Yeah, it starts getting a little like not like a player deal of any kind.
Yeah.
Not like nobody's moving up or down anywhere. I think that's one of the other things about the NHL draft that is less exciting versus the NFL and the NBA.
Well, the NBA is
nuts. The
Like,
NBA is dumb because they don't make them official, and so it's like
you just pick for them. Yeah.
Well, and like dudes are getting picked, and everybody in the world knows that guy's going to be an Indiana Pacer, and he's wearing a Dallas Maverick hat, and you're like, this is so stupid, man, because none of the analysis ever ends up being about the guys in the teams that they're picked to play. It's just like, well, this guy's long and he does this.
Vancouver does go Willander here, not very surprising.
And that's a good fit for them. That's a really good, again, diversifying skill sets. I like this pick. I think it's pretty fun. So
a good fit. A range you're expecting to see Willander and maybe Pellica start going.
Yeah. And as a right-hander, so Willander is also a guy that late first draft process, all helium, baby.
Yep.
He lands at 11.
Combine on.
I will tell you,
super razor.
I came around on him, but also guys that catch fire like that.
Yeah.
Make me nervous because all of the hype about them.
Yeah. Off ice stuff.
It is not driven by what? It is not driven by on ice play.
Yep.
It's combine interviews, it's physical testing, it's medicals, it's all important elements. But when you're like, okay, if all you knew about this guy was what he had done on the ice, you thought he was the 28th best player.
Yep.
You just drafted him 11th.
He's got a little blue steel going on. He's going to be a future male model team member, I think.
Do you think it's any coincidence that they have them walk all the way going to the right? Because none of them can turn left?
That would be a pretty big problem if you're going to be an NHL player and you can't turn left.
I mean, it was a pretty big problem for Zoolander. Not obviously in the NHL, but just in life. Oh, he turned left. He turned back around.
We're safe. He can play. It's fine.
I wonder if that's one of the things that they do in combine interviews.
Can you turn left?
Yeah. I mean, who was the player they were asking about? Oh, it was Reinbacher asking about killing teammates.
I've heard some of the questions that some orgs ask, and it's like, what could you possibly learn from this?
I would be letting a psychologist do it. I would not be trying to sit there and be like, oh well, the answer to this question is a reflection of how he feels about his teammates, or the respect that he has, or his selfishness, or whatever. Like,
we gave him the trolley problem, and he said he'd run over one side, back up the trolley, and run over the other. So I don't know what to think about that.
You're like, I want that guy in the playoffs. Exactly. That's exactly it, man. You're talking yourself into a dude at that point because you're like, that guy loves being the trolley.
I don't know anything about him, but I know he's a killer.
Yeah,
Come playoff time, I want the trolley on my side.
Okay. We're through 11 picks now. We're on a commercial break, so gotta let you guys know we are brought to you by the wonderful people over at right here, Shady Rays. We both got our sunglasses on tonight, looking good. You can go to shadyrays.com today to get your sunglasses. When you use code DNVR and get 2 pairs or more, you get 50% off your order. So, as some in the chat were saying, if you want the drip, Shady Rays is the way to go.
Not gonna lie, man, these are super comfortable.
They're not bad. They're not bad. They really do help with the just super bright lights we have on set. So they do the job well. Tons of different options and looks for you when you go over there. Even if you're a ski and snowboarder, they got goggles for you. So they've got you covered. And their return policy is fantastic. First 30 days, you break them, lose them, or just don't like them, they will replace them for completely free. So go check them out, shadyrays.com. Use that DNVR code to get 50% off if you get 2 pairs or more. And then we're brought to you by the wonderful folks, which I'm actually not wearing. I should have worn it for my undershirt, my Pins and Aces shirt.
Yep.
Fantastic clothing over there. I'd probably be a lot more comfortable if I wore my Pins and Aces shirt because they actually make breathable clothing. But they want to make sure you're looking good on the golf course. They're official golf apparel merchandiser of DNVR. They've got you covered top to bottom, hats, shirts, pants, cleats. But more importantly, they've got the beer sleeve that goes in your golf bag. You can bring 7 beers onto the golf course, fits right in there. Nobody will even know that you're carrying them in your bag. So go check them out today. Pinsandaces.com. Use the DNVR code with them to get 15% off whatever you order. Okay, let's get back to it, Arizona. Your second pick of the draft. What are you going to do with it?
So with Willander gone,
Yeah.
Sandin Pellikka would give them a puck mover
Yeah.
to go with Simashev.
I said for them to have the balls to do it at 6, just do it now and take Benson.
I think that would be, looking at Benson,
Sure.
I would say, boy, they really like size, though.
They didn't with Cooley.
Right, but that's a top 3
But you're
pick.
right. They're at 11. They took Geeky last year. So
Yeah.
let's see. Okay, that's Boo going very, very early.
Oh. Okay, so they have gone all in on Russia and
Yep.
all in on huge guys.
Yep.
And I have turned this entire draft into a boomer bust
Yep.
conversation.
They're either
Like,
going to show out or they've got 10 more
they're-
years of rebuilding.
They're either
Yeah.
geniuses or they completely blew this.
Yep.
So I was talking about Daniil Boot the other day, and I said that
If he's around at like 22 or something.
I said that if when you're talking about what do you like about him, and I said I'm going to, as long as he has feet, actual feet, and not prosthetics. Any guy that is 6'5" and as skilled as this guy is, I'm gonna love him.
Yep. They're really going to have like 2 gigantic beanpoles in their draft day picture.
Well, and now, yeah, I hope that little guy in the hat doesn't sneak his way into it. Otherwise, he's gonna come up to this guy's belt.
This guy is just catching so many bullets tonight.
All the strays, which is pretty impressive given his size. You'd think he'd be able to avoid it a little better.
Didn't know you were a sniper out here.
I tell you. With 6'4" and 6'5", though, also they just drafted a Russian best friend.
Yep. Now they're just buddies forever.
Exactly. They're just going to be BFFs.
Yeesh. This one feels like a bit of a reach to me.
It's a big
but
time reach, but this is the same thing as Simashev. You are
I
you are
like the Simashev reach better, though.
You are banking on big time talent. And boy, was I not kidding when I said they really like size.
I guess.
Going with the guy 6'5" and passing up on some of the more
Talented,
dynamic,
potentially
more proven forwards from North America for this guy. I mean, you are really, really putting yourself out there. They've taken this draft class and said, okay. I mean, you put this guy next to Logan Cooley or some of the other, Matthias Michelli.
Yep.
It makes sense.
Yep.
It makes sense why Zach Benson wasn't that pick. Because you need to start adding, talking about with the Willander pick with the Canucks, you diversify your talent.
And you look at, presuming they hold on to Clayton Keller, he's not a huge kid either. So
yeah, Nick Schmaltz is
not that big.
5'11".
Yeah. So from that perspective, it does make sense.
Oh my God, he looks so Russian.
Yeah.
He is. The thing about the kid, though, is that he is way talented.
The only thing I do worry about is like there are some bad teams in Russian juniors. The caliber of that league is just all over the place.
It's one of those leagues where the good teams that have the money that are at the top of them, those are really
have
competitive.
really good organizations.
Yeah, and they're really competitive.
Which Loco is a good org for the record.
But the lower tier organizations are atrocious.
Yeah.
They are it's very low end hockey.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, look, I just think that they basically just had the same philosophy with Simashev and said, we're going to draft the really,
Just
really
go
big.
for it.
We're going to draft the really big kid that's super talented and has a really high ceiling, but a really low floor, and just see how it goes.
The biggest
I love the
talented
Simashev
kid,
pick
yeah.
because they needed a defenseman.
Yeah, I think Simashev is a better pick than this one. Not that this one's bad.
I tell you
but-
what, if Buffalo takes Zach Benson and ends up with Zach Benson and Matt Savoie, I'm going to be pissed. But also, that's an organization that could really use a defender.
Yeah.
They've taken so many forwards, man. So many forwards.
They're like honestly a little bit crowded on the forward side at this point.
They need to start consolidating some of them.
Yep.
And trading them for Devon Taves.
Boy, but this is a weird spot for Buffalo too, because this is an
Yeah,
organization that wants to make the playoffs now.
There isn't a. For me, this feels like a trade down spot.
Agree.
This feels like a team that it would make sense for, where there's a lot of forwards for them to still sift through.
Yeah. Some team that's thirsting for Benson or something.
Some team that's
yeah.
thirsting for Benson. We'll just have this conversation because these guys are still sitting at the table watching
That's
the clock.
true. They're not getting
They
up.
might just be hanging out. Zach Benson as a Colorado Avalanche. Are we high fiving or are we?
I don't love it, to be honest
What
with
the
you.
fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. So
Sell me.
I
Not
think,
going to happen. You're wrong.
well, he's not going to be an Av, so
totally
it
kidding.
doesn't matter.
Kidding.
But I think it's part of the same conversation where you worry about the Avs, certainly third line,
Samesies.
about
like, too samey.
being too easy to play against.
Okay, but don't you also see where? Let's live in a world where Gabe Landeskog does come back.
yeah, and like you can make it work.
Benson would become a guy that would get up in your top six. And maybe Lehkonen is the guy that is on your third line, and you don't worry about that.
And if Benson gets there quickly enough, awesome.
And
you
in
feel
the
great
world-
about it.
In the world where Landeskog doesn't come back, that's your top six replacement.
Yeah, I have a little bit of concern on how quickly he can get to that level
Okay.
because the Avs need it as fast as possible.
Do you think Buffalo takes the local kid in Quentin Musty?
I hope they don't, only because I want to see him fall. But
He's not making it to 27.
I know he's not
brother.
making it to 20s, but if he makes it to like 19, are you not ringing a phone or two if you're Colorado?
Not for both of them is the problem.
I hear you.
The thing is, if you package both of those first round picks, fuck me, man.
There you go. They went with Benson.
It's just too much. They're just loading. There's so much talent there.
Yep.
There's so much talent there.
Is this not a team, if you're a team like Colorado now, though, that you're calling on a number of guys on their roster?
Yeah.
Where you're saying, hey, you guys have too many forwards.
I mean, would have done it right there. If they wanted more NHL guys, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I would. I would call them, yeah. So, Benson, the big question, extremely smart.
Yep.
His ceiling is Mitch Marner.
I don't know if I'm that much of a believer in him, but sure.
His playmaking is absolutely elite.
I agree with that.
The big thing here is that for a guy that is 5'10", his skating is not very good.
Yep.
And the number of guys in the NHL who are
Small and can't skate are
small
very,
and-
very few.
and
Yeah.
below average skaters, it's very hard.
He's got a good mullet going, though.
Yeah. He looks like he's going to go to Rochester and throw down garbage plate after garbage plate
I raid with a guy.
on a bet.
I literally raid with a guy from Rochester.
Oh yeah.
Will not stop talking about garbage plates.
It's one of the things, like, I'm more excited to go to Rochester someday than Buffalo.
Just for the garbage
I've
plates.
had buffalo wings, bro. I want a garbage plate.
Would a first be enough for Middlestat? No.
I would trade 27 for Middlestat, but why would Buffalo?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I would too, but Buffalo isn't going to want to give him away for nothing NHL caliber.
This is real separation season, I think. These next couple of picks, like,
Sure.
For Pittsburgh, I think Oliver Moore is a phenomenal fit here. I think Braden Yeager is a very good fit here.
I really like Yeager for them. I do. I
What's
just
up,
have
David?
faith in that organization to turn Braden Yeager into an NHL player. But
I don't have faith that Braden Yeager could turn Braden Yeager into an NHL
and
player.
like that's your concern with that kid, right?
Yeah.
Like
I will. The Gabe Perreault thing, I think, does start to get interesting if this continues to last. I have felt I'm just kind of going off of the best available list here. Can we actually pull up our board?
we have our board.
Yeah.
It's fine. Whatever version we have, and it'll be missing a couple picks, but yeah,
Okay, so
so just take Benson off that list, basically.
yeah, so take Benson off. For the record, this big board is the elite
Consolidated.
prospects consolidated.
Yeah.
It's an average of all the different boards together.
Yep.
That seemed like the way, because we weren't going to make our own.
The most realistic board that you could find, basically.
Yeah, like that. That's just going to be. To me, it just made sense.
Yeah.
So that's where we got the board. Guys that are on this one that I want to start looking out for as being picked in the next handful of picks: Oliver Moore,
Yep.
Sandine Pellikka,
Yep.
Matt Wood, Gabe
Yep.
Perreault, Braden Yeager, and maybe Colby Barlow. We'll see. I mean, I'm kind of blah on him.
Probably Musty, even though I don't want it to happen.
I still think Musty is a guy that's probably ticketed for
You think he
heartbreak
gets
in
to
the 20s.
20? Yeah, you think he gets to 20?
Yep. Oh man, he would be such a fan favorite in Colorado. Quentin Musty, he would be a skilled guys that really like to run around and hit people. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody loves those guys.
Yep.
Just don't hurt people, Tom Wilson. Like that's where you go wrong.
I mean, or do and just have an in with the guy and player safety, and it's fine.
All right, Pittsburgh, weird position for this entire organization.
I just like Pittsburgh's just stuck, right? They have to go for it continually as long as Crosby and Malkin are there. Mm-hmm. But do they really have the pieces to actually go for it?
Yeah, we know that big board hadn't quite been updated yet. We know. Willander was still on there too. So there were a couple names. We just want to take a quick peek at it.
Yep.
I just wanted to start pushing us in a. These are some of the guys. These are some
That
of the
are
names to
still
really
out
start
there.
looking out.
Yeah.
I think one of the more divisive names that we will see in this draft is Andrew Cristal. Where does he end up?
Not divisive for me.
Because
I wouldn't take him in the first.
Same. He's not on my. I like him in the second. I'll take the chance on this.
Totally.
He's not on a D&D list. It's just I would have him in the 50s.
Why would you take that risk in the first?
It's weird that we're 13 picks in and they're just now getting Connor Bedard on the
They're
ESPN
interviewing the first pick.
Yeah.
It's been, what, an hour and a half? All right, Pittsburgh. Mr. Dubas in his new job. Is he going to speed run the position? How quickly can he get fired? They do go
Okay,
Yeager.
there goes
yeah.
Yeager. Cool.
Our All-City mock draft got that one right.
Hell yeah, it did.
Count it.
Did we get anything else right?
I don't know.
Hell yeah. All right, so Braden Yeager, an interesting, was a really high, might have even been first in the WHL draft.
I mean, he was
Tons of potential, man.
And you can, when he's playing, you can see the oozing talent that comes from him, right? Okay.
Yeah, that was really loud.
When he's on his game, the dude has that level.
He looks like a really, really high end NHL
But
player.
he never does it consistently.
Yeah.
You have issues with his effort level, and you have question marks about at his size and play style how it translates to the NHL speed.
Yeah. I don't know if I like it for Pittsburgh.
I like the swing. I like the swing because, again, this is a team that has to go all in year over year indefinitely until Crosby retires.
I might have preferred Sandin Pellikka.
I mean, you could talk me into a D, sure.
It's an interesting one, though. And then the next question becomes, what is their plan for him? Because you're talking about going for it. Okay, well, that puts these guys on fast tracks. We saw what happened when Chicago did that.
Yep.
They kept fast tracking all their guys, you know.
And it burnt out
Yoki Hadi
real
was,
quick.
was
Yep.
in the NHL in the blink of an eye.
Yep.
You know, Kirby Dach was not ready for that.
Yep.
Physically, sure, but
Ability
he was not. Yeah, he was not ready for that yet. So, I think that should be the way that Chicago flamed out and rushing a lot of their picks should be instructive.
A warning sign,
Yeah, to Pittsburgh. Okay, you've taken a chance on a guy like Braden Yeager. Let him develop at a natural rate. Now, if that means he's a dominant player in the dub next year, and they sign him, and then he jumps immediately into the NHL, okay.
Whatever the path is, the path is. Yeah,
but you're talking about a guy whose development kind of stagnated a little bit. Was not.
Yep.
You know, he was a top 5 guy coming into, you know, in this draft class for a long time.
Yep. And he fell.
And he just stopped taking steps forward.
Which
And
is why
that's-
he fell down lists.
Yeah, and that's where, but he still shows enough.
that you can dream on it.
Exactly. But this is interesting. It's an interesting pick, and
I
now
think
we
it
get to a
makes
Central
sense,
Division
but, yeah,
foe.
an opponent that the Avs see a lot of.
Yet another Central Division team that has multiple first-round picks. They have 15 and 24. St. Louis had 10, 25, and 29.
Yep. Well, and we know Nashville tried to move up with the picks
Yeah.
that they had.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. Now we get to find out who's on their list. I don't know, like...
I just don't
They're,
feel...
they're stuck with Yossi indefinitely, right? So I don't know if Pellikka makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I mean, I also think it's going to take time for Sandin Pellikka.
I agree, but like even if it takes Pellikka 3 years, you have 3 more years of Yossi left.
Yeah. Colorado's at 27.
Yep. And 31.
Yeah, and 31.
Oof.
So they did not qualify Rasmus Asplund today. That makes him a free agent.
Technically.
So he's not coming.
I mean, that whole
Neither
list
is Alex Galchenyuk.
all of that list is very weird. They also included a coach and Andrew Brunette.
They included Coach Going and Hines.
I'm saying this list is just generally weird.
Huh.
All right. Who you taking, Barry?
Yeah.
How much impact is he going to have on shaping the way this organization does business?
Yeah, you wonder, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel like they're, because I think I took Nate Danielson in the All-City mock here.
I think you did, yeah.
Which was a fit that made a lot of sense to me. I don't feel like there's an obvious fit here. Them taking Zachary LaRue a couple years ago makes me think that Quentin Musty would be maybe a little redundant.
Yeah.
But I can make the same exact argument for Matthew Wood and Samuel Honjek.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
Fuck, I could make the same argument for Colby Barlow. This is a weird power forward draft.
Let's see. Let's see who they think is the best of the list.
I don't know. It's kind of weird that he's still the.
It is kind of weird, yeah.
I guess he could take his victory lap here. Hey, I've been your guy for 30 years, 20 years. All right, so
And
there
they do
goes
go
Wood.
Wood.
All right, so Wood is a really interesting guy because the youngest player in college hockey last year.
Yep.
The
Went to a pretty small program in Yukon.
Yeah, and really big, and so people have been connecting the Tage Thompson dots.
Even though it's not really the same.
The only thing similar is they both went to Yukon, played their freshman year and got drafted, and then are both really big guys.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
And I guess we're wings when they got drafted. Tage
Became
turning
a
into a dominant
center,
center
yeah.
was pretty surprising. But Matt Wood has a really, really big question mark on his skating.
And this is one of the big guys in this draft that have the more typical big guy questions around them.
Yeah.
On how those things translate to an NHL that has never been faster
Yeah.
and never been smaller.
Yeah. He's a guy that he really struggles to play with pace, but he's really smart. And he's a really I think what surprised me a lot about him is that his playmaking
Sure.
was as good as it was.
Well, and I get
Very smart player.
I get that he's a wing, but you look at an organization that just moved on from Ryan Johansson. You're talking about a big body who can play make, and an organization that wants you to get to the front of the net and just pucks bounce off shit, right?
Right.
From that perspective, it makes sense.
Bucks bounce off shit.
That's Nashville's offense, man. I'm telling you.
I don't think it's gonna be under Andrew Brunette, which also I will say makes this pick weird.
That's
The way
fair.
that Andrew Brunette wants to play really up tempo now. Again, this is a couple years down the road with Matthew Wood, because I think this is probably 3 or 4 years.
I would say at least 3, yeah.
Yeah, for him to get here. Andrew Brunette could be gone by then, but if he gets there under Andrew Brunette, gonna be weird.
So there you go, just shy of the halfway mark, 15 picks into the first round. A few.
How we feeling?
I mean, I feel better. I think there's still 2 stupid picks in the top 5 that I'm not over.
Okay.
The rest of the draft, I think, has been pretty good. The only surprise, like real big surprise to me, is Boot, rather.
Okay.
Other
Agreed.
than that,
I agree.
I don't think there's anything
All these
too
guys
out of
were
the norm.
pretty much in this range within a handful of picks.
Yep.
Even we talked about Danielson going a little early. Like I said, there was a lot of talk about him in Vancouver at 11.
Yeah.
Is it really that big of a thing if you draft a guy at 9 and he
2
was going to go
picks
2
ahead,
picks later?
yeah.
Like, give me a break here.
And then left on the board, we still have more Pellica, Barlow. Chalet's a little bit of a edge case. I don't think either AJ or I would have him anywhere near 14. But
All right. Our speculation that it was the Constitution.
confirmed,
No.
denied.
It is all the names of the family, coaches, teachers, advisors, and others who have impacted his life and helped pave his path to the NHL.
That's cool.
Over 140 names listed on the back of his vest and lining his jacket. All right, so if you didn't love Adam Fantilli before then, you should love him now.
Imagine you're
But
the
also, somebody should get him a vest with the Constitution on it.
imagine you're the one guy who didn't
up, Yaya.
make the vest.
What?
Imagine you're like the one guy who didn't make the vest.
Yeah, I would be like, I want to know. Can I get a list?
Yeah. Am I on that thing? Like,
Yeah. You're the 141st guy, and you're like, bro. He's like, dude, I put 140 people on there. Let me ask you, Calgary on the clock here. A lot of forwards in recent years, a lot of forwards in the AHL, pushing on the NHL ceiling right now.
Yeah.
Sandin Pellica, another name that I'm going to throw at you, Mikhail Gulyayev.
So Gulyayev is interesting.
Gulyayev.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I think 16's a hair early for me. For him.
For,
Especially with Pellica still out there.
okay.
I could
They snake your
100%.
boo and take Oliver Bonk. Are you gonna be mad?
I would be sad, but not surprised.
Okay.
There are some lists that have Bonk right in this late teen range. So we'll see. But
Nobody that you really want to say, hey, Avs trade up for?
at 16, not really. I have zero interest in Pellica on the Avs, so I wouldn't be chasing that down.
Okay.
Yeah, Calgary's just in such a weird spot where it feels like by January, this organization could be like scorched earth and they're going to need everything. So I just don't really think that any pick is necessarily bad for them other than just taking a bad player.
I am at the point where my love of Oliver Moore
Is getting to be too much.
is,
You're at least making some phone calls.
yeah. I'm calling Detroit right now. Yeah. Of course, if the scary old man takes him, that's not fun. You can't haunt here.
There was a fly flying around on screen there.
Looks like
I
a
saw
ghost,
it.
man.
Yeah. Oh, you're not even making the pick?
No, you gotta let Craig Conroy do it. He talks out the side of his mouth,
he's
so I can't read his lips.
very side mouthy.
All right, awkward dead air for us while we wait to
Think it was
figure out.
Hanzik? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. I really like him. You did not.
I do not.
So start us off.
I mean, it's kind of the typical me, and I think you're more of a fan of power forwards in the draft than I am.
So here's my.
Okay,
Continue
here
on.
we go.
Continue.
No,
on.
go ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
So my thing with power forwards is I love power forwards and I hate power forwards. I love them because when they grow up and become actual power forwards, you think, wow, these guys are extremely hard to find.
And they also have the highest failure rate of
And they
draft
are
picks
they
in
are
every
wildly
class.
they are
Like,
wildly valuable. I don't know if it's harder to draft a good power forward or a good quarterback in the NFL.
that's
The bust rate,
fair. Okay,
the
that's
bust
fair.
rate
I'll
is
give you that.
absurd.
That's
for
my
power
problem.
forwards, and this is the problem because this is the problem with having an 18-year-old draft like this is
They're so young. Yeah.
they're so young that these guys who are more physically mature, like a Samuel Honjek,
Right.
can dominate, just physically impose their will and dominate
against their peers. Yeah.
And I mean, look at him.
Dude, that kid needs to fill out.
Dude. So lanky, man.
Dude, I feel like not that long ago, I didn't feel that much older than these kids. I feel old this year, man.
Yeah,
I
so
feel old
with,
this year.
With Honjek, you're talking about a guy that how much of this was him? He could just physically dominate the
Yep.
WHL.
And I think
Because
there's a decent
consistent
portion of that.
engagement is an issue there. How many guys get to the NHL and we talk about it?
Yeah. They take shifts off, man.
How good would this guy be if he just played
Yeah.
every shift with that level of engagement, that heart, that drive? And you get guys who get rewarded to end up as first round picks because they're just so much bigger. And
Yep.
so you wonder, and this is not, and I'm a Honjek fan. I like him.
Yep.
But this is the conversation with power forwards that makes you nervous. Because how much of it is this guy was just able to physically dominate? You know, we talked about Ryan Leonard earlier. It is a fair
Well, and this
question to
is-
wonder what Ryan Leonard did in the USHL. How much of that was
Right.
just being a more
Because it's the
physically,
USHL,
a
yeah.
physically mature player who was playing next to,
Some 16-year-old kids in that league against him.
and
like,
and he's playing next to Gabe Perreault and Will Smith.
where they just go run kids over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where it's like, what are you gonna do? The only one that could touch them was some of the kids from the Chicago Steel.
Yep.
Like, what do you do? What do you do?
No,
How do you evaluate those kinds of guys? Because you look at a Honjek and it's how easy is it to see? He's dominating in the WHL.
Well,
and then you look at him and we're just talking about. I mean, if he turns sideways, he's Paper Mario.
I will
he's two-dimensional, bro.
I will say this is where there are some advantages to an organization like the USNTDP because they also go play games against colleges, and you get to see those big guys against more filled out adults in a college game and things like that. If you
Yeah.
go to Europe, you have kids that can play in the pro leagues.
Yeah.
It's the one weakness of the Canadian junior system is that you don't get to see those kids, particularly the big power forwards, against adults.
Yeah. And what does his game become when he fills out? Because Samuel Honchak can't make the NHL at his current size.
No.
And especially at his current level of engagement on a night-to-night basis. Yeah. So this is, and we're not done talking about power forwards. There are
plenty more to come.
On this board that are going to go.
Ones that I like a lot more than Honchak.
Yeah, and take this conversation and apply it to all those guys.
100%.
We didn't really get into it with Ryan Leonard, but it is a totally fair conversation with Ryan Leonard. Drafted 8th overall. And we were talking about David Edstrom earlier, again, like that's a guy, that real big guy.
He's big.
And not physically dominating.
But he's playing in a pro league. Also with Edstrom, there is much better engagement, at least on the forecheck side of the puck. I think you like his activation a lot more. And this is coming as someone who I don't want Edstrom. But
David Edstrom feels like the most New York Rangers pick ever.
That's a good call, actually. I like that.
So we're starting to slide out of trade-up range.
Yep.
Like where both picks would be involved.
You're now talking about weird asset management would have to get done.
I think we're starting to get closer to the reality of they're going to make a pick and trade a pick.
Yep. Which was the most likely outcome, I think, at the start of the day. So
I think, yeah. And, well, they might pick both guys. They might pick two guys. We're open to it. It'll happen.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think I personally would be a little disappointed in the asset management there, but I wouldn't be surprised.
At the moment, with the way that the board is sitting, I am leaning towards trading back at 27.
Sure, I'd be fine with that.
Just because I think there are some guys. There isn't a guy that I'm dying to take.
And there'll be enough
except
stuff.
Quentin Musty.
Sure.
I am dying to take him.
So when he goes at 26.
To San Jose? Well, then Mike Greer and I are fighting. And I hope he's ready for that smoke.
You can take him. I believe in you.
Me too. Especially if you give me weapons.
That would help.
If it's hand-to-hand, I'm in deep trouble.
Yeah.
Deep trouble.
Do it on skates and you're in even bigger trouble.
Deep trouble.
Who's going to be the NHL's superstar that gets picked at a commercial break this year? Jokic style.
Man, I knew that fun fact years before people, because I have the weird habit of trying to fall asleep to past drafts. So I'd gone back and watched that pick happen before.
Yeah. You watch the Quesarito get picked.
How crazy is it that Jokic outlasted the Quesarito? The 41st overall picked during a Quesarito commercial.
One of them is a multiple MVP, and the other is a thing that used to be on Taco Bell's menu.
One of them is changing his industry, and the other one went defunct, got removed from a Taco Bell menu. I love Quesaritos, man. They were delicious.
Can we
talking about trading up right now? There isn't anybody that I absolutely have to have. I love Quentin Musty, but I'm not trading both picks. I will tell you, some of the guys that I know Colorado has interest in are still sitting there. David Edstrom, Otto Stenberg are two of them. Bradley Nadeau is one of them.
I'm not
Michael Hrabal is also on that list, the goaltender.
Hard to get too hyped on anything until you get to the 20s, though.
I would say I'm not, because they pick at 27, I'm not going to start feeling it till about 23.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Till after the 23rd pick is
made. Yeah.
Two other guys that I know we have talked about a lot that I know that the Avalanche
are
have some level of interest in.
Bonk and Molendyke,
Bonk and Molendyke. Thank you.
which I don't think Bonk gets to them at 27, but if he does, I'd be super happy about it.
We talked about this earlier. If both got there,
Just trade
definitely trade
it.
back.
Yeah.
And take that chance. Gabe Perreault is not somebody that I've talked to anybody about because I just think Gabe Perreault is going to go in the top 20. Between Gabe Perreault
for Colorado, no thoughts.
between Gabe Perreault and Oliver Moore, one of them is going to Winnipeg because they draft US NTDP guys a lot. Oh, okay. I thought they were okay. Cool. This is. I'm calling a Swede. I know I'm going way out on a limb here. I'm calling a Swede to Detroit right now. I'm guessing it's Stenberg.
That's the thickest limb I've ever seen.
The most reinforced.
Thing's a fucking sidewalk.
It's a redwood. Actually, their draft history of their number of years with a
Swede is like
with
outrageous.
a Swede might actually outlive some redwoods.
Straight up.
I'm gonna guess Stenberg here. I'm gonna shoot my shot with it and not take the obvious Sandin Pellikka. I'm gonna go Stenberg.
So
here.
I've come around on Stenberg in the Avs range. At 17, I think you're making a mistake.
He's a middle six forward, and we're gonna have to. I'm saving the Stenberg conversation.
We'll talk about
for
it when
obvious,
we talk about it. Yeah.
For obvious reasons, I don't want to do it.
They'll pick some random Swede that we've never heard of. Or they'll shock everyone and take a Finn.
I mean, if they took Halton in here,
That'd be a mistake. Don't do that.
big wolf energy there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be.
They take. It is Pellikka.
Okay.
Okay.
So went out on the thickest limb ever and survived. I just grabbed the wrong branch. That's all.
You fell over and landed squarely on the branch.
Yeah. So Sandin Pellikka, great. Fits.
Yeah.
Whatever. Given the guys that they've been getting, a lot of the guys that they've been drafting on defense have been bigger dudes,
Bigger size,
big bodied dudes.
You can see room
This is
for a stylistic fit
This is
there.
going to be a guy. Hey, and I've talked about earlier. What is he in the NHL if he's not running a power play? In Detroit, he would be your second power play guy. So you're more comfortable with that downside. You're not putting the pressure on him to run that top power play right now.
I would. Now, I don't know that it'll be this good, but I would argue stylistically, Detroit is hoping he's Sam Girard.
I think if I'm drafting most undersized defensemen, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, Girard's offense might not quite be at the level that you want if you're really pushing for an offensive defenseman.
Sure.
But
a guy running a second power play.
But the solid defensively takes care of his own zone. It
Exactly.
does an okay job there. So.
Yep.
He looks like a Red Wing.
He does. I mean, he's a Swede.
I'm so
that's
excited.
why he looks like a red
I get to hate him forever now.
Easy.
What kind of asshole am I? My mid-30s hating on teenagers just because.
A team took them.
Yeah, because he's going to go play in Detroit now. Well, you know what? Finland's better anyway, buddy.
True.
I know he's half Finnish. That's part of the fun.
Yeah, Pellikka is a lot more.
Oh, shit. His favorite player was Cale Makar? All right, we got to reevaluate this hate.
Nope.
What do I do here?
We're gonna somehow get him.
No.
Not really.
Also, I don't want to type his dumb name.
Sandin Pellikka is too much for
Especially
sure.
with the LLKK. No, I'm good.
But have Washington go get him, and they can have Sandin and then Sandin Pellikka as a pairing.
That would rule. I wonder if one of them would just put. I wonder if he would just put Pelika.
Probably. I don't know. I don't know.
Could you power move it? What are the rules on this? Could he just put ASP?
Whatever you want. XFL. He hate me back there.
Okay. He hate me would be awesome. All right, so good offensive defenseman.
Another
Questions
one
about
off
his
the board.
defense. Very classic profile here.
So who your next D you're looking at are probably Gulyayev and Bonk.
Yeah, and
If you want a D. All right. Winnipeg, take Colby Barlow so I can laugh at you.
sorry, I'm gonna
Do what you got to do.
just. Sorry, I'm just gonna do this on camera.
Whatever you got to do.
Sorry.
You're all good. Winnipeg, another team in a weird spot similar to Calgary, where it feels like they might have to blow it up this year.
They're not going to.
I know they're not going to initially, but if they're terrible at the trade deadline, at a certain point, you don't really have a choice anymore, right? So they're kind of making decisions at this draft, assuming they're continuing to push forward as an organization and not rebuild. As my mic falls apart. It's fine. I got it. There we go. We're good. We're good. Set's falling apart. We're
was
making it
scary.
work. AJ already mentioned Winnipeg very commonly picking USN TDP players, so don't be surprised if that's the way they go. But their pick is in.
I will say Colby Barlow makes so much sense for them.
I agree.
Just saying.
I think Colby Barlow isn't that good, though.
Okay.
Anyway, their pick is in, so I will say we've now made it to pick 19 without a trade. Are we going to get the most boring draft ever, where there are just no trades in the first round? 32 teams, I guess it's not 32 teams, but 32 picks. They just walk up to the podium and make the pick. It's starting to get a little weird now. I agree. If you're Winnipeg, you go more over Perreault, right?
Oh my God. Let me think. Fenny. Walker McGordy. Yeah, I would probably want the centerman. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. All right. Let's see which player Winnipeg is going to pick to hang out for 6 years and then want to leave. Because that's what everyone who goes to Winnipeg ends up doing.
Bro, not necessary.
I'll throw the shade so you don't have to. It's fine.
This must be Volo.
It sounds busy down there. Yeah.
It's got to be Volo, man.
Do you think Chevy's going to stay in Winnipeg much longer? They did go Barlow, by the way. Sometimes I'm okay at my job, chat. Sometimes.
I'm really glad I threw that in there.
Just tossed it in.
I'm really glad I threw that in there.
He does have the beard of a full-grown man, that's for sure. No argument there.
Okay, so... Sorry, I am talking to Jesse for the record.
I see.
Production homies, can we try to get Jesse
An eCam link or something?
to call in for a bit, just a quick chat? 30-year-old Colby Barlow.
Look at him. He looks 30.
I know, I got it. It's so funny because it's so true, but these are all 18-year-old kids, and you're like, Winnipeg would draft a 30-year-old. If it meant he would stay, right?
No kidding. Look, you only have 5 years left in your career, so
We want all 5. Oh, I'm so sorry, Z.
pretty banging tie, though.
Bro, you too, by the way.
Mine's just black.
Yeah, I was a big fan of yours, though. I walked in and I was like, I got out-tripped.
No, I don't think so. I think the white shirt is a little too plain. You added some color flair.
Yeah. I got you on that one. Yeah, oh my God. How funny would it be if he went and carded all the other dudes at the bar tonight.
I'm gonna need to see your ID.
Exactly. He's gonna be the one. He's gotta. They're in America.
Yep.
He's the only one. He's gonna be the only one that doesn't get carded when they go out for beer later.
Yep.
He's gonna go to the liquor store and get them all loaded up because they won't card that guy. Look at him.
Oh man.
Rick Bonus is like, you're never playing for me. I'm gonna get fired way before you get there. Oh man, very funny.
Yeah. I was hoping for some more unpredictability though. Like after we had a top 5 where Carlson goes 2, Reinbacher goes 5, I was like, maybe this draft will get interesting. And there just hasn't been that much. Certainly nothing crazy. Like Columbus taking Chinikov a couple years ago. But there's still time, I guess. We're still not even to pick 20. Chicago's second pick on the clock now. This one's actually interesting. They have to think about.
Again, another team with NTDB ties.
For
One
sure.
of those two guys would make a lot of sense. And Gabe Perreault feeding pucks to
Just hammer
Connor
that
Bedard.
dude on the wing with Connor Bedard and take it to the bank. Yeah.
Okay, I don't like this anymore. Too many good players. Too many good players. All right, we're trying to work out.
Jesse's trying to get on here.
Yeah, we're trying to work out a Jesse popping onto the.
Hopefully we can get
onto
it
the
in a
show,
couple
so.
minutes here.
He's got the link.
Yeah, they're having major Wi-Fi problems.
I believe that for
in
sure.
Arena.
Yeah. That does not surprise me at all.
He's gonna try from his phone, his laptop. He sent me a picture of it. It's not. It's done.
The problem with the Avs trading up at this point is it's a tough value proposition, right?
Yeah, what
Unless
do
they
you-
found a way to right now trade back with one of the picks. For like, who would want to do that right now?
The funny thing
But-
is, Chicago would have been the perfect team to do it.
Right, because they have that
Because
extra pick.
they could
but
trade up. So they would trade.
they go back to 27,
They
give
would trade
35
30,
and 55.
Yeah, so they would trade 31 for or 27 for 35, 55.
Yeah. And then use 31
And then
and 35
31 and 35 for
to
19.
get 19.
That's how it would work. And then the Avs would have 55.
Solved
Why don't
it.
want
yeah.
dude, somebody give us a franchise?
Right?
We got this.
We're dressed on
We
a
got
franchise
this.
at this
What do
point.
you call the franchise? What would it be the name of your guys' franchise? Mascot and everything. I am just very curious.
DNVR dumbasses.
I like that. Lower expectations out the gate, baby.
Would it just be like a donkey as the mascot?
We'd have you as the mascot.
Let's
Perfect.
fucking go!
Perfect. I'm sold.
The fighting yayas just running around.
Yo, I love the fighting yayas. That is such an awesome name. Unironically, no joke, that name rules.
Especially because it means, like in Europe, it means grandma. So it's the fighting grandmas.
That's even better, dude. Yes. The fighting grandmas.
I'm here
we're
for
in,
it.
We're good.
Yep.
All right, so trying to get Jesse to hang.
Yep. Hopefully we can get him on as Chicago's going to make the pick here. It'll be interesting how Chicago timelines these, because obviously Bedard is jumping in right away. But you're hoping this pick at 19, if you're Chicago, is coming into your organization right as you're starting to compete again.
You want Jesse first or the pick?
Bring Jesse whenever.
Let's do the pick because they're here.
Right,
Rudo
fine.
also, hey, would you like for the two of us to go on the PHNX Coyotes recap?
I saw the thing. We can if they want us to.
Oh, you're in this. Sorry. You're down?
I'm down.
Okay. Yeah, we're in.
Hey, look, any chance I can rant more about Simashev, I'm here for it. If Chicago does go with Oliver Moore, so they take the center
I hate
instead
it, man.
of the winger.
I really hate it. I really hate it from a selfish standpoint, from a Chicago standpoint.
From every standpoint.
Building down the middle where their three centers are going to be Connor Bedard, JT Compher, and Oliver Moore. I really like it. I really like that.
The thing is, Moore is probably still like a couple years away.
The thing, also the thing with Oliver Moore, number one thing that you need to know about him as a player, the ice melts when he skates because he's blazing fucking fast. He might be legitimately the fastest skater in this draft class.
You think so?
He is outrageous.
All right.
On skates, man.
Here we go. We've got Jesse live from Bridgestone Arena. Jesse, how you doing?
Are you in the bathroom?
No, but I am in the hallway.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Wait till tonight. It could be a
Right?
bathroom.
Dude, all bets are off.
We're 20 picks in. Well, 19 picks in. Jesse, no trades. Is it about to pop off, or is it going to be boring?
There's no movement down on the draft floor. That's like all we've been watching for. They have a big hallway out to Central Registry, and
Turn it up.
nobody is heading down it, man. No conversations, none of that stuff. It looks like we might just go a straight chalk 32 picks at this point.
Can only kind of hear you.
Yeah.
So it sounded like there was no action. That's on our end, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
But
it's a volume thing, not a connection thing, for the record.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure chat can hear you just fine.
Well, I'm curious. What was the reaction in the arena with Simashev at 6?
Well, I can tell you the reaction from the PHNX folks who were sitting right next to us, and it was jaws on the floor. Just nobody had that one. That was near me. Sounds like Rudo, you like him?
I'm sure whatever you said was awesome and great.
We'll just ask you questions and we won't have conversation.
Okay, that's how it's going to work.
All right. So the
ahead.
Avs we're at pick 20. There have been no trades. Well, the funniest thing to be for the Avs to trade up was Seattle, the team that vanquished them.
Sorry, I thought we maybe had a trade coming up. Gary Bettman was talking. Dude, I mean, look, they got 2 picks. I'll be surprised if they keep them where they're at. That's honestly what you just said, AJ, is what I'm expecting now. Maybe not necessarily Seattle, but I thought we were going to see them move up, try to get up in the order a little bit here. Seattle's on the clock. We don't have any kind of announcement for a trade yet or anything, but I'm still expecting the Avs to do something. But can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. No, I was just saying I thought at bare minimum we'd see them move up or try to move up. But I don't know. There's still some good players on the board. I'd like to see them package those 2 first together to move up or do something with them. But I don't know, man. Like I said, they're just it's super status quo at their table right now.
It feels like this has been everybody's just content to just keep picking.
Yep.
There's not any kind of movement. There haven't been any NHL player deals. There have been no pick trades. There's been nothing. What is it? Is everybody just hungover?
Dude, so we went out on Broadway the last 2 nights, and like the entire NHL draft was out the last 2 nights. So that might be it. They might just be like, you know what? Let's just make these picks and get out of here. But dude, I mean, it's been cool to see everyone around here, but honestly, I mean, like, there is legitimate chatter on the media riser of people like, what is happening? Like, everyone thought this was going to be a crazy picks moving, players moving, all kinds of drama. And like, I think there was a little bit of drama in that top 10 in terms of who got picked. But yeah, dude, I mean, seriously, I mean, I don't want to use the word stunned, but there's legitimate chatter through all the media right now that this is just not really how we thought this was going to unfold. In terms of, we thought there'd be a lot more movement.
Talked about them not trading up At what point does this shift to Colorado looking at potentially trading back with one of those picks?
I mean, we're running out of time here. We're coming up on, what is this, pick 20? So, I mean, we've still got a little bit to go. There's plenty of room for stuff to happen. But, I mean, if they are going to flip something, they got to start doing it pretty quick here. And again, just from purely watching their table, I haven't seen Chris McFarland pick up the phone. We thought we had a false alarm. Both Chris McFarland and Joe Sakic stood up from the table about 20 minutes ago, fixed their coats, and we were like, oh shit. And Greg Cronin walked up and gave them both a hug. So that was a total false alarm. But like I said, I with every passing minute, I'm just like, all right, maybe they're just gonna take 2 kids in the first round. At this point, Rudo, I'd like to see them with at least one of those trade back and get an extra pick. If you're just gonna make picks, you might as well trade back and just add to the cupboards. Again, I'm not gonna be mad if they pick 2 guys in the first round, but do something with that draft capital. I wonder, do you guys find it as weird as I do that suddenly in the last 48 hours, like they're just like, oh, well, we'll add some draft capital?
It's a little weird the way they went about it.
Yeah, and I think it's still waiting for the other shoe to drop to really.
Yeah.
You know, if they do move back with one of them, we'll see if they make multiple picks tomorrow or what the plan is. But it's
Edward Sale for Seattle.
Oh, okay, great. I love that Ron Francis landed on the landmine of Edward Chalet. Thank you.
Oh, Saleh, I'm sorry.
So, okay, I think we should stay in touch, and we should, if they make the pick at 27, have you pop back on real quick, and we could chat about it, okay?
Yeah, no, the Wi-Fi in here is spotty, but my cell phone is coming in clutch here. Rudo, just real quick, what I asked you at the very beginning, you liked the Coyotes pick at 6?
Love it, yeah. Very much about it.
The PHNX people were both floored. I was next to Leah and Craig, and they were very surprised at that pick. I thought they were going to take Michkov.
They maybe should have, but I like Simashev there too. So I think it will be. Look, it could blow up in their face, 100%. That could happen, but it could also be a home run. So,
I mean, that could happen to any of the teams picking today, you know. So I'm with you. I'll let Leah and Craig know that Rudo signs off, though. That'll help.
We're doing the PHNX recap show after to talk about it.
Oh, sick. Okay, awesome. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, I'm gonna head back in there, and then I'll give you guys a call as soon as we're done talking to whoever they end up picking or whatever they end up doing.
In touch.
Appreciate it, Jesse.
Sweet. Thanks, guys.
Montano himself live from the arena of nothing happening, apparently, on that draft floor.
If your fun fact is that you're good at tennis, you're not fun. If you're a pro, you're a pro athlete and your fun fact is
good
that
at sports.
You're good at sports, you're not fun.
All right. Well,
so
the draft drags on at this point.
Seattle makes a pick I don't like. Big shock.
Yeah.
I love Shane Wright, though.
You and Ron Francis are not pals.
Oh, dude, he's the worst. So, I don't really know what to talk. We've kind of talked about him a little bit.
We have covered him.
This is a guy where getting drafted where he is because of international tournaments.
Yep.
A little bit like Dvorsky, but not with the same kind of upside. You're talking about a guy that has really popped in international competition.
Yeah.
He's good, man.
Look, I'm not saying he's not deserving of a first-round talent.
He's good. I think he's a good, intriguing offensive player. I really don't know that you're going to get... I really have serious concerns that the motor isn't there.
Sure.
That the guy will drift through just large stretches of games and not do much.
It's... Again, I think it's one of these things that we've learned over the last handful of years. The Czech pro leagues are maybe not quite as good as people used to think they were. As we've seen the rise of the Finnish leagues and even the German leagues.
Absolutely.
Having him play a significant amount of his hockey there. I do wonder if the transition to North American style hockey is going to be aggressive. You talk about his motor, all of that stuff comes at you so much faster on the smaller ice.
Yeah.
We'll
So,
see, obviously. As with every
Minnesota
draft
on the
pick,
clock. Looks like they're going to make their pick here. This is a Quentin Musty landing spot that I am
You're about to be real sad.
about
to be real sad.
because that is, well, first of all, Minnesota continues to draft players that I really like.
They always have.
This is. I also wonder about Otto Stenberg here as well.
Sure, I could see that.
As a kind of a multi-positional.
Yeah, flex around your lineup.
Middle six. We're gonna fill in the gaps. Really fits with the kind of speed that they've been targeting in recent
Quite
years.
literally compared him to JT Compher in my video on him. So
Yeah. I do think that the Cal Ritchie conversation is going to start getting more interesting.
as long as the Avs don't take him, we're good.
There are upsides there.
Of course.
It's mostly my biggest upside with Cal Ritchie is that I'm just not sure who he is.
Sure.
The shoulder injury is like looms over everything that you feel about him. That he played through it for so long this year. You love that toughness. You love that mentality. You love all those things, right? But
Sure.
if you're investing a first-round pick in the kid, you probably want to be a little more comfortable with the answers to those questions. For me, anyway, I'm not comfortable there.
Recent history, the Avs have not done very well on picking injured kids either.
Yeah.
Most of them have
that's
not.
fair.
They haven't really gotten any value out of. But
Yeah.
those guys also aren't first rounders, so
Come on.
there's a little bit of a difference there.
Take Bradley Nadeau.
That'd be fine with me.
Bill Guerin still looks like he did when he played. Like, it's amazing. to me.
Aged well. It's not a trade alert. He just clicked the wrong graphic. Don't worry. It's just a pick. Yeah, just trying to infuse some excitement into this draft.
Yeah. Yaya just baiting people. This is why we're the fighting Yayas. Dude, is he making a speech? Like,
He's still
what's
talking.
happening?
He's still talking.
Are we getting a biography of the guy he's about to pick?
He's pretty bloodshot in the one eye, but
I do think this is an interesting.
okay.
Fuck yeah.
Charlie Stramel.
All right. I think he was like 40 on our board.
He was 40. Yes, the last one on our big board.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Well, it's not a trade,
right.
but Minnesota making it interesting.
So Charlie Stramel's a guy. That was all I had to say.
Charlie Stramel.
He's a guy.
So there were a number of players higher in this first round that played college hockey in their draft year.
Yeah.
That there's a lot to like about.
Yeah.
Stramel is the guy that played college hockey in their draft year that I feel like he didn't adapt nearly as well as all of the other guys.
He played college hockey this year.
He did play college. That's true. You did not lie to me.
Got him.
In that moment.
It's true.
And
This is a team trying to find a home run on a big kid.
it feels like they're trying too hard, though.
It's interesting because in the last couple of years, they have been comfortable taking guys like a Marat Kuznetsov.
Yeah.
You know, more of your small stars with a lot of skill. This reminds me very much of when Dallas took Riley Tufte. We want a big physical specimen,
Yeah.
hometown kid. We want a guy that we think we know pretty well.
I get it's not one-to-one, but it is an organization that just moved on from Jordan Greenway.
Yeah,
It
for sure.
lost some of that size organizationally.
Yeah, and you could say that because they have been targeting more skill-ish players, that they could use an injection of size and grit into their lineup.
Yep.
That's what you got here.
His stat line in college just screams AJ Greer to me.
Okay, this comment about they're saving the signing bonus to pick up a high school prep prospect is very funny to me. It's very funny to me, and you have to understand how the MLB draft works to get it. But that's very funny. Great, that's a great comment. Big fan. Yaya, could you scroll up a little bit? There was a comment just as the pick was being made that I wanted to touch on. Keep going. That one, the
long one.
Yeah, that's the one. So, are there any secrets on the draft floor? It seems like everyone next to you is going to be able to hear your discussions on players with like 15 managers sitting around the table. I promise you it is louder than you would realize down there.
You wouldn't be able to hear anything unless you're right next to him.
I remember my first ever draft, 2017 in Chicago. I interviewed Joe Sakic on the draft floor, on it.
Yeah, could barely hear him.
Not in the media riser or whatever, on the draft floor. And I had the hardest goddamn time transcribing that interview, and we were this far apart.
Yeah.
We were actually closer.
Yeah.
And because I kept trying to get him to admit that they were going to lose Farley in the expansion draft.
It's
and
also
they were, by the way, going to lose him.
Yeah,
I was right about that. But you would. My point is that you would be very surprised how loud it actually is on the floor. Keep in mind, this is also an arena that is full of people, so they're piping in music and noise, all the things that we do to try and keep everybody that's there entertained.
Well, there's also, when the draft is actually going and you're involved, there's very little walking around going on. There's a reason there's a phone at every table where they're calling each other.
And imagine you're in a room like on the floor. In that, like, if you're in there, I guarantee you it is I know for a fact it is much louder than you realize down there.
Yeah.
So no, you're not gonna get, somebody's not gonna snake your boo because they overheard you talking about, oh hey, we want this guy or we want that guy.
Yep. There's a reason there's a lot of photos of them on the phone covering their mouths and stuff too.
Yeah, and there's the famous Kyle Dubas picture where he has three phones. Yeah. Those exist, man. Like that stuff. Easton Cowan, please no. I just not my favorite player. Yeah. Anyway, no. My draft prep was I'm the first round. My draft prep did not go 7 rounds this year.
I think we did a good job of probably going about 40 deep.
I think I might call. I might be that GM.
Yeah. Just ring them up.
This goes along with the fake translator. I think I would be the guy that
you
would
just want to create chaos.
Yeah, like I think I would just call. And like if I was able to see one team pick up a phone and make a call and see the team that picked it up, I would just pick up my phone and call one of them constantly and act like
you'd be
serious business.
You'd be that guy that like you don't want to make the trade. You know they're talking to someone, so you just call them over and over and over to tie up the line. There goes Bonk.
All right, so I said I wasn't going to start thinking about it until after 23. Bonk is gone at 22.
Which is where he was projected to go, so not a big surprise there.
All right.
Do the picks start? All right, look, you're at 23.
Gulyayev going right there would have really helped.
That would have felt good, yeah. But Musty's still around.
Yep, Musty's still there. I'm really hoping I called my shot with Edstrom and the Rangers because that's the pick we're at now.
I'd be really happy. I think it would fall very well for the Avs if Edstrom goes to New York.
I'm actually really shocked you guys have kept the sunglasses on the whole time too.
These lights are bright, dude.
Yeah.
And do be like that when you get under the bright lights.
Yeah, that's true. Also, this feels like it's gone really fast, but also has taken forever at the same time.
It
I
has
can't feel
taken
my
forever.
ass, and I'm super hungry, but also I'm like...
It's definitely taken forever.
Let's see the time.
We're almost 3 hours
my.
into this live stream, dog.
Yeah, wow. My goodness. Great Googa Mooga.
Bonk would have been great for the Fighting Yayas.
Yeah, Bonk
true.
would have been. He would have been captain of the Fighting Yayas. See, that's a fun fact. Speaks fluent Czech.
That is fun. I mean, it makes sense given who his father
Given
is.
Radic
but
Bonk, yeah, I understand. But it's still a fun fact. If you don't know anything about his family,
Yeah, it's fair.
him speaking fluent Czech is like, oh, that's cool. Fun.
So, Henry actually got asked a fun fact.
Oh, yeah?
His fun fact about himself was he's 5'8".
He what?
His fun fact was that he's 5'8".
That's not a fun fact.
It's not,
Jesus.
but that's what he wrote down.
Boring. King of Trolls is going to be hard for them to get Stramel given he's already picked. Bonk is a good fit in Philly too. I think that's a good pick from them.
Nah.
Don't love it? Why not?
Fuck them. I wanted him.
Okay, fair enough. No argument there.
That's all. All right, so the list that we're gonna start really honing in on here: Edstrom,
Stenberg, Mollendijk.
Mollendijk. I think probably more of a
More
31.
yeah, sure.
Musty?
Musty, if he's around in a couple picks, Musty for sure.
Yep. Fun facts are only fun if you're a fun person. I love a good fun fact. What is this face?
What's the fun fact about you, AJ?
You'd rather say a terrible dad joke than a fun fact.
What? All right, I feel judged now. This is fucked up. You want to fight about it, man?
Are we fighting now? Is that what's happening?
We could.
Break up the band?
Oh man, but that's why we're the Blues Brothers, because we get back together.
That's true. They do get back together.
We're on a mission from God to get Quentin Musty to pick 27.
There you go.
Let's get Musty.
No, we're not allowed to get excited about Quentin Musty and who's on the board until after 23.
Yeah, but can we start the Lusty for Musty campaign?
Yes. After 23,
Okay, fair enough.
which is where we are. See, fun fact of this show is fun. I'm glad you feel that way.
Yeah.
Unless you're being sarcastic, in which, well played.
Got us again.
I got
yeah.
baited. Well played.
How do you feel about the Laviolette hire for New York? Okay. I'll leave it at that.
Anyway,
All right. Under or over one trade today?
bro, if... Yeah, So I'll say... Fuck. Under.
Can you push? Is
I'm
push
gonna
an
say
option?
I'm gonna say under, but I'm also I want to. We might as well talk about the Gabe Perreault thing he's dropping. Why I don't know that I would be into it at 27 is because he's not a good skater.
He's a terrible fit for Colorado specifically.
Exactly, and it's not that he's a bad player. It's really just entirely about his profile is not. It's the same reason I'm not in on Andrew Cristall. These are just not for me.
Yep.
That said, Gabe Perreault broke all the scoring records.
Scored a
Broke the
brillion points.
single season
NCDPs.
scoring record. My
Yeah.
God. For a program that had Jack Hughes and Austin Matthews in it not that long ago.
But there's a reason people aren't talking about him like that.
Exactly.
Those guys.
And there's
So,
a it's funny because if he goes on to be a very good pro player, it's going to be like,
not surprising.
it was right
Yeah,
there the
right.
entire time.
Okay,
And there he
Perreault
goes, right
to
there.
New York.
He goes to
Good,
New York. Got
good.
him.
Everyone wins.
Yeah. Don't have to worry about it now. Now we are officially lusty for musty.
Lusty for Musty. Would you say you'd busty if they get musty?
Gonna go home and get a little thrusty.
Let's go.
I'm glad that the graphic was on the screen for that. They did not. No, they did not. They did not see.
The
Yeah,
thrusty.
they didn't see the thrusty.
AJ did the thrusty and he was about to get busty.
That's right. Oh Lord.
I'm trying to think of one that works with Quentin, but I can't figure them out.
All right, so Nashville back on the clock. I think I had them take Gulyayev in the ALLCITY here.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm. I think that's kind of where I'm looking right now. A guy that could really, for the same reasons I took him in that mock, where if he pushes that pace for them and gives them a dynamic element while Yossi is on the back nine of his career.
Yeah,
I think that there's intrigue there.
I mean, you have 2 picks in the first. You took a forward with 15 in Wood. Going D would make sense here.
well, and
in that regard.
you went with a power forward-ish.
Yeah, right. I could see you taking a little bit more of a swing with this one, right? Like, go for broke.
Yeah. I mean, is he that guy right now? Like, I
don't know that Gulyayev is that guy.
Yeah, it just feels like right now there may not be. Do we have an updated draft board or not?
This?
Yeah.
I mean, this is our pick so far, but yeah,
Just
we'll
the
get
big
the
board.
other one
Sorry,
in a
the big
minute,
board.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So when you look at this list, man, like I think the higher end guys that you would talk about, Andrew Cristal, just because of the offensive playmaking, extremely dynamic, great hands. There's a reason he's here, though. I think Riley Height is a really high ceiling guy too.
You could get. I want him at 31 because of the boomer bust factor.
I think another guy that we have, Lucas Dragicevic.
I was gonna say
is a guy where if you're talking about if you're taking a big swing on an offensive defenseman, he's big. He drives the absolute crap out of play.
The bust potential is probably
all
too
offense.
high
He's
on that
all
one,
offense,
but
baby, all offense. So that's the conversation with Dragicevic, is that he doesn't play any defense, and one of the few guys where I'm like, look, if you drafted him and moved him to right wing, you might get a better player. You might get an NHL player, to be honest with you. So and I also wonder, again, a couple of guys where you're talking about ceiling guys here. Tanner Molendyk is obviously a guy that we've been targeting. I feel like if I say his name, I put it out in the world. But also Jaden Perron,
sure,
from the USHL. That kind of really dynamic offensive profile.
The flashes of unbelievable skill are there.
Exactly.
Yeah, and how much consistency can you get out of that at the next level?
Yeah.
Who knows? But
Jesus.
All right, another pick without a trade. That team scores a lot of goals.
If they went Musty Hrabal,
I'd be fine with that.
it'd be fine, but I'd want to know who's on the board at 31 when they go with the goalie.
For sure. I'd take, if Molendyk and Hrabal were both there, I'm taking Molendyk if it's me. But they're showing trades from last season. That's where the production is at. They just want to get these graphics used.
Oh, trust me, I know this. I did not spend 2 weeks on this shit. Joe left the table.
That could mean anything.
He could have to pee.
Yep.
I'm surprised you've only done it once.
I drank my water
Yeah,
and cut
true.
myself off.
He could also be a trade registry, about to blow up all kinds of shit.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know.
Looks like Nashville's picking. So
Yeah, Nashville is making their pick, but maybe they were talking to St. Louis. Like, who knows?
yeah. Because, to be honest with you, right now, the Avs would be circling. They would be looking at a group of players, not one player.
Yeah, for sure.
And they would be saying, hey, we've got a cluster of 6 guys here that we really like. We're 3 picks away.
Yep.
We're going to try and move back out of this. Because we're going to get one of them at 31.
Well, and St. Louis holds 29. If they wanted to move back literally just a couple spots.
It's fair. I wonder if they could just give up 5, 6, and 7 and make our lives soups easy tomorrow. I don't think that's enough.
It's not. It's definitely not.
To go from 27 to... I don't know. It's not very far.
It's only
Those
2
aren't-
picks,
those
right?
aren't- yeah, those aren't-
I don't know. Okay. You're having Roman Yossi do something? Oh, you're just pandering to the crowd again. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, I mean, it's their draft. Like, you gotta...
Do it with your first pick. All right.
Did you ever see that movie Can't Hardly Wait?
I did not.
Oh my God. I need an adult here. Because Pekka Rinne, if anybody that's seen Can't Hardly Wait, Pekka Rinne, fuck them.
Yeah, tragic.
Pekka Rinne looks so much like the foreign guy from Can't Hardly Wait that doesn't speak English and goes around all movies saying, I am a sex machine. He looks just like that guy.
All right, here's what's going to happen.
So them taking Tanner Moendijk actually breaks my heart, man.
It's very sad. If worst case scenario here, Musty goes 25 to St. Louis.
This one really hurts.
Stenberg goes 26. And then they can take Edstrom, so at least you'll be happy. I don't know what that super chat was, but we appreciate you.
Yeah, let's hit it.
$5 from Banks, who says, been a while since I've caught a live show. Thank you for the awesome off-season coverage. Interested to see what unfolds with the Avs picks.
Yep, we're starting. I mean, we're there. We're right in that neighborhood.
It's that time. All right, well, just wait 2 years and then you can recreate the Sam Girard trade, right? It's totally recreatable.
What are you giving
So
up then?
the thing about, I guess we should talk about it. Why I'm annoyed Tanner Moendijk gets drafted here. A great skater, like an absolutely. When they play his highlights,
It's why he made so much sense as an Av, right?
when they play his highlights, you're gonna be like, holy smokes, what is the deal here? Because he is an absolutely electric skater, totally dynamic, crazy pants, good skater. Maybe the best skating defenseman in this draft. I think probably so. A wonderful transition defenseman, which is
Both
an area,
directions for
an area that the Avalanche specifically are very
They
good
target
in.
very heavily.
Or they want to stop defense before it gets into their own zone. As an in-zone defender, needs some work, but he's very competitive. There's talk about him being undersized, and I really just don't get it. I truly don't.
Yeah, he's not like Sam Girard sized. He's bigger than that.
Yeah, I don't understand. He's 5'11", 5'10", depending on what you see him. I don't know what he was listed at as the combine.
It was 10 3/4.
It was
for
10,
the
so he's
record.
5'11".
Yeah.
Give me a break, man. He's very competitive, so he's not one of those guys that shies away from contact. He's not a very soft player in his own zone. It's not what he wants to do, but he will do it, is the thing. I do hate to say this, but Quentin Musty is a perfect St. Louis Blue.
He's not making it to the Avs.
He's a
I've
perfect
accepted
St. Louis
that.
Blue.
Yep.
We knew, we not knew, but we were fully expecting the 20s were just going to be full of heartbreak, and it started with the bonk pick.
Yep. And it's just going to straight into the ground of sadness.
Yeah. This is where I start getting nervous that they're going to take Carson
Torinsky.
Rykov.
No. Oh, Rykov?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, if they took Bo Aki, I'd be okay with it because I love all the tools that are there. But you have a major consistency question mark there. Yeah, Moendijk. Oh, man. All right. So now we have to sit here and wait and wait and wait. I will laugh if the Avs are the only team to make a trade tonight.
They are the trade.
Yeah.
$5 from Mike, who says, appreciate all the work you all put in to break down all these picks. Can't imagine how much time and effort that takes. We appreciate you guys. Thank you very much, Mike. We put in a lot of cram work this year, for sure.
Yeah. It's true, we did.
All right. I will say this. One of Musty, Stenberg, and Edstrom will be there.
Boy, there is such a drop there.
It's a huge gap.
To Edstrom.
Yeah.
From Musty and Stenberg, who are guys that you can have top 6 conversations with.
Yeah.
More middle 6, but
I think so too.
you
But
could see them on a second
maybe
line.
if everything goes perfect.
Yeah. Those could be top 6 guys, more middle 6 types, but with Edstrom, it is, you would really like to see a third line center here.
Yeah. Brindley still out there as well,
Yeah.
who we had in our All-City mock going to the Avs.
Yeah, Megan
Yeah.
Megan always a big fan of the
NCAA kids
Yep.
generally, yeah, for sure.
always a big fan of the NCAAs. Yeah, trading for Bedard would be a good move. We'd be all about that.
Yeah, they should just
So,
do that, right?
I fully expect this to be Quentin Musty because he is a classic Blues pick. Like the style of guy
Skate
that they
hard, run
always
into
go
things,
for. Exactly. A like point power forward kind of.
Jake Neighbors 2.0.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's got that kind of power, but
Sure.
yeah. Just the most, just a classic Blues pick.
They go
and
Stenberg. Okay.
All right.
The lust continues.
Yeah. Still lusty, baby. We're one pick away from some true lust here. All right. Otto Stenberg, great. So the thing with Stenberg, again,
A lot of international
2
success
players here.
Yeah.
St. Louis drafted 2 players with Otto Stenberg. The one that there was all year, who was solid. He was fine. He was a wing, he was a center, he was a middle 6 guy. He's
Fairly unimpressive in the
solid.
SHL.
solid, not sexy.
Yep.
And then the one who goes to the U18s.
Who was a baller. Yeah.
and absolutely destroys
Yeah.
the U18s. Destroys
was just better at the U18s.
the U18s.
Had other international competition like the Holinka and stuff he was very, very good at too. But
So two different kinds of players that you're seeing here. Really good skater, really versatile player, a guy that will be able to fit in all over a lineup. It's all good.
yep.
That's a good player.
He'll
That's
be
a
a
good
good player.
for St. Louis. He would have been a really good fit in Colorado. This one hurts because it's St. Louis in particular.
Yep.
So we're one pick away from true lust.
Lust
If they
or
take David Edstrom over Quentin Musty,
that's a mistake.
we're gonna have a fight.
Yeah.
You
We're just gonna start brawling. All I'm gonna see is red.
all you're gonna see is purple because I'm gonna choke you out with, it.
With the
With
tie.
my tie.
AJ's gonna thrust the all the way to next.
That's
Oh
right.
God.
So yeah, now we just kind of sit here and wait.
Yep.
I will say there's enough guys here that I would be. This is
You could consider moving back still.
trade back territory,
Yeah.
100%. for
And I
me.
wouldn't hate that. I would not hate that at all.
Well, he went back to the table, so
As you do.
That was a quick pee.
Could you imagine he just walks away and doesn't come back for any of the picks?
Yeah.
He just walks down Broadway in the middle of the draft.
Consistency. Yeah, no kidding. If it's the guy that they, if Stenberg gets that consistency figured out.
Yep.
There's a name that just slid by on the best available on ESPN.
Who?
But we've not really talked about a defenseman, Etienne Morin. Offensive defenseman would kind of fit the way that the Avs play the game, but did they just? The reason we were so in on Molendyke was because he played the game a certain way.
The specific
that was like tailor-made for the Avalanche.
I know this saying. I say this knowing the Avs have a great fit in Sam Girard.
Yeah.
I always think twice about offensive defensemen from the Q.
Yeah. Thomas Chabot was
And like,
pretty good.
Obviously, good ones come out of that league.
Yeah.
But it's a league that plays a certain style of hockey where it is a bit easier to put up production in a role that you might not normally. $2 more from Banks, who says, "Is AJ wearing double Shady Rays?"
No, I'm wearing my regular glasses.
Yeah.
Underneath.
He was wearing them before the show. He did have a double pair, though.
Yep, it's true. Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about 18-year-old kids, Avery, the draft kids are going to be skinny, for sure.
They are literal children.
Yeah. It's why every single time that you talk to a draft director the day after their draft class, you go, "What do you think of it?" And they go, "Well, they all need to fill out." Yeah, okay.
This morning, when the Avs still had 37, I think Cagnoni could have been interesting there. Now, I don't think it really makes a ton of sense.
I think with Gliayev still sitting there, I would struggle there.
Sure.
Yeah, I can't believe not a single deal has been made.
Not one. Not a one. All right.
Yeah, boy, if they took David Edstrom here. I guess I didn't really ask you about Theo Lindstein. I just don't think there's a lot there.
I don't.
It's such a classic Swedish,
The
all
meat and
around,
potatoes.
not great at anything. He's just solid.
All right. Is San Jose going to steal our lust? Let's see. Yeah, it was musty. Tragic. And expected.
I would trade out.
I would hard trade back now, yeah.
I would be trying very hard to get out of this
Give
pick
this
right
thing
now.
away.
Yeah, because whoever you think you want right now, you like your chance to get him
Yep.
at 31.
Yep.
That is a big time.
Tragic.
The way that went,
it panned out the worst way possible
the
for
way
Colorado,
that
yeah.
it went, all of the guys
Yep.
in a row
Yep.
leading up to 27 sucked.
You could see it coming, though.
Yeah, sure. We've been talking about it. We fully
Yeah, we knew, but
look. The
it still
emotional
sucks. It still
emotional
sucks,
hedge has
yeah.
been on for 8 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should definitely try and get out of here. I'll tell you, if they pick here, a guy that I'd be all right with, Ethan Gauthier,
Okay.
as a guy that I think will get better than his draft here.
Sure. Looking for a little bit of upside value there.
Man, that's a tough one.
Yep. To go one pick
Yeah.
before, it stings.
Yeah, well, and if Edstrom's the last guy on this list, I don't think he's good enough to just say, let's do it.
To just pick him at 27.
I would rather trade this back and
Same.
try and see what kind of NHLer you can get tomorrow with a pick.
Yep.
Report from Emily Kaplan that the Blackhawks are working to get back into the first round of the draft. Come on.
Do it right
We've
now.
been talking about...
You can do it, Chicago.
We've been talking about 27 for 35 and 55.
I don't want Bradley. I wouldn't hate Gulyayev.
Yeah, I'm good on Nadeau. I'm not interested. Right now.
I don't really want Edstrom.
Hey, Edstrom right now. Edstrom at 31 if they
Makes
move
more
back.
sense. Yeah.
I'm cool with because they're setting up for something else. Like Gulyayev just is not a. It's just something the Avs don't need. He's not a bad player. He's not a bad fit. None of those things.
Yep.
He's just a player they don't need. And I know that you don't want to pick for your NHL roster right now.
But their defense isn't going anywhere.
You're probably going to have Bowen Byram at least 4 more years. Sam Girard is signed at least for 4 more years. And you have you're not letting Cale Makar leave ever.
Well, right. So you have certainly Byram and Makar going nowhere.
Yeah.
Pretty much no matter what, you're keeping one of Girard and Taves.
And as we're seeing right now in the NHL, it is easier than ever to just find a decent puck mover.
Yep.
On a value deal.
And slot them in.
Yeah. So I'm just not.
And there's the tragedy from 22 to 26.
Yeah.
Just
really 22 to 26 is murderer's row.
Yeah.
Like Perreault was the one like where we're like, cool. Now see, Dragicevic can't skate, Cristal can't skate. This is the thing about there's the reason these guys are here.
That's why they don't make sense in Colorado also.
And I don't think there's enough separation on some of these guys that they should just sit tight and take one.
Yep. It's a lot of guys. Both Edstrom and Height, I think you'd feel okay at 31 with. But at 27, the value just doesn't feel like it's there.
Still on the clock.
They haven't put the pick in yet. Although it wouldn't be the first time that the Avs watched their pick clock go to 0 by accident. All right, I guess they're making a pick.
All right, I'm immediately disappointed.
Let's see who it is. Will they do something crazy? Potentially.
Frederick Olofsson coming. I mean, it's true. Oh, it looks like. I mean, is that Bednar right there?
It looks like they're walking to the stage. Yeah. So they're gonna pick somebody.
All right, so we're getting a pick. I've never been so disappointed for an Avs pick in my life.
Right.
All right, let's see. We haven't talked about it, but this is goalie territory too.
You could YOLO Robble for sure.
I think.
Again,
my guess is one of Edstrom or Rabel.
Would not be surprised.
I say it different every time I say it.
Yeah.
Don't you dare take Oscar Fiscal Molgard.
Please don't. Please don't take Molgard. I didn't catch what he said. Okay, they go Callum Ritchie. Don't love that.
Great. The one guy we were like, please don't do this.
We were all out on Callum Ritchie.
Please don't do this.
Yep.
All right, so here's where we have to here's what we have to talk ourselves into.
Yep.
He's big. He's a center.
Large center. You're hoping can bring some size probably to your third line.
He's really tough. He could be a really good defensive center.
What were his totals? Let me see. 59 points in 59 games with Oshawa this year. Look, he wore an A so he has some of the intangibles that the Avs often do like. But not my favorite pick.
Nope. We'll see.
Yep.
I'm open to the idea of that shoulder,
If it heals and he's that much
and
better.
all of a sudden it's like, hey, look at what a healthy version of him looks like. Okay.
Yep. Yeah,
It's the disappointment is super real, man.
I just don't.
They were one pick from Musty, who had I totally fallen in love with.
What's I guess my question that I hope Jesse asks is, what is the selling point? What does he do so well that you wanted to take this guy? Because for me, I just don't see anything that's that level of caliber here.
All right.
He also looks 12, besides being 6'2". But that's okay.
All right. Trade back at 31.
Yep, you can still trade back the other one.
Yep. We can still do 35 and 55. I just...
In good news, he'll be an easy prospect for me to watch all year in the OHL.
Yeah, 100 to 0 is a good way to put it. And what sucks is, like, this is a personal thing, right?
Right,
Like, this
totally.
is a personal bias of, like,
100%.
Just wasn't a
This is
prospect that I
a
liked.
prospect that neither of us
Yeah.
really liked.
Yeah. And not... I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, look.
Yes. So again, he played with a bum shoulder all year.
Yeah. If he can get healthy and turn himself into a third line guy that can play physical with his size and at least show some consistency on the offensive end, are you happy with that?
Yeah. I'd be happy. I mean, in terms of getting an NHL player out of him, I like this more than I like Andrew Cristal.
Sure.
Or Riley Height.
Yeah,
I think he's more likely to be an NHL player than those guys.
I mean, I would have liked Height better. Again, though, I understand the risks in taking a guy like that.
It's weird that they've had like
3 interviews and the Avs pick happens to be one of them.
It's weird. I mean, the thing with Gavin Brindley is that he's very, very small, and
Yep.
you're having a real conversation about if his skill level is good enough.
Yep. Again, it's hard to separate his year from Adam Fantilli's year, right? Like,
Yeah.
how much of that, not that Brindley's bad, but how much of a boost is he getting?
All right. Well,
Toronto
I
also
would also
making their
say
pick.
a little bit of an upset that they took a CHL kid. They've taken a lot of European.
They have
and
gone away
college
from
kids.
that historically. Well, not historically, but their Canadian kids have been junior A kids in the last handful of years in the first round. Anyway. Anyway, Toronto not trading. St. Louis's third pick. Could they be a team that looks to trade? Can we at least get a trade here? If I'm going to be sad about the pick the Avs made. Like, I get what you're saying, Australia, and you're right.
Whole
You
bunch of
never
people
know
are
about any
just
prospects.
love all this.
What's that?
Said a whole bunch of people love this.
Good for
So,
them. Happy for them.
Yeah. I'd take Cal Ritchie over Easton Cal.
Sure
and that's for
would.
fucking sure.
Not a pick I would have made.
Yeah, we're not. For the record, we're not writing him off. It's just that neither
No.
one of us are personally big fans here.
Yep. This is a guy that we now have to go get ourselves hyped on instead
Well, and
of
we're
just
gonna see
being
him.
hyped
We're
on
gonna see him at Dev Camp
in
a
like
week.
3 days. Yeah.
and hopefully he's healthy enough to get on the ice and participate
look good.
and do stuff.
Yeah.
Because, hey, look, a guy that's 6'2" and 185 pounds
Yeah,
already.
right.
You like the size on him and the fact that he is a solid skater. Great.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to bury him. I feel better about this than I did Oscar Olausson.
Yeah. If they picked Easton Cowan, I'd have buried him. But
Yeah. So true, man.
it's just, it's one
My big thing here is I just don't know what the upside is.
exactly. I have serious question marks about who he becomes at the NHL level.
Yeah, because I don't know what the upside is there, and that's where the conversation about that about upside is. It's uncertain because he was hurt all year.
Yep.
Like, that's such a big factor in it. Are you just going to assume that, hey, if he was healthy, he would have been an 85-point player on that team? If he
You
was
don't
healthy,
know.
if he was
You don't
healthy,
know.
and he had the exact same season and he was healthy, would he have
How do
gotten
you
picked
feel
just now?
about him? Right.
I don't know, and I just wasn't a huge fan. So we'll see. Like, and I tell you what, them getting an actual center who projects as center and will be a center and should be a center in the NHL. That part of it is nice.
You say that, but they moved every center they have to wing in the AHL. But
We'll fucking fight you. Yeah, at this point, 31. I'd like to see the goalie.
I mean, whatever. I'd be fine with Robble. I'd be fine with even a Gulyayev, even though it doesn't make a ton of sense for them. If you want to go forward, you've picked a lower ceiling guy. Would you be more willing to YOLO on a height, or would you be still annoyed?
What's that?
So they picked the guy where you're wondering about the ceiling with Richie. Would you be more open to YOLOing for a potential high ceiling but bust, like a height at 31?
I don't know. You know, thinking I would almost take Gauthier at 31 and put them together.
And just have both of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Leadership qualities and a really smart player and good size. Those are your selling points.
Yep.
And a legit two-way center.
If he can get the skill level high enough.
Yeah. Boy. Yeah, if you take David Edstrom at 31 now, what are you doing?
You can't pick two low ceiling guys, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Haltonen is a guy that I have issues with the skating.
yeah, I just don't think Haltonen's a first round talent, to be honest with you.
Also fair. I almost want to trade down just because I don't like this crop of guys very much. The goalie is fine, but
Everything
after that,
else,
everything
yeah.
else, you know, Gauthier, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, again, I know you'd be less disappointed in me ignoring who gets picked, but using both picks is a little bit blah to me. It just doesn't feel like great value.
Yeah.
there's a bunch of tweets about, I don't even know. I assume,
Just reactions of people, what they're saying.
yeah, the Avs pick. So. Okay, we're down to the last 2 picks with 0 trades today.
I know. Oh, the kid with the blue for the Blues he looked absolutely terrified
Shell shocked.
the last time he was on camera. I have Andrew Cristall on my do not draft list right now. I mean, I said earlier, if you took him in the second round, I'd be fine with that.
Do not draft in the first round.
I feel like he's in my 50s.
Eventually, you just say, screw it, it's worth the risk.
Yeah, we'll
but-
just see what's up.
Yeah. At least the USA soccer team's kicking ass. Yeah.
All right, well, St. Louis finally took a defenseman.
Neat.
Yeah, Theo Lindstein's fine. We kind of just talked about it.
Would you feel better or worse if it was Dragicevic?
Worse, because that's just not what they need, man. They already have guys in the NHL who can't play defense. So
Yeah.
at least with Lindstein, there's a little bit of upside there. With Lindstein, you're getting a guy that could be a pretty good defender.
Some
so,
stability.
Yeah. Guy does a little bit of everything for you. His
P.S. If you want
size is fine.
if you want a stable defenseman, just draft a defenseman out of Sweden.
Yeah.
That's what they produce those things like crazy.
And this makes way more sense. If you were going to draft an offensive guy, Gulyayev is right there, so
Yeah.
Dragicevic wouldn't have been. I mean, as a dude who hates St. Louis, Dragicevic would have been great. They should have done that.
Yeah.
So, all right.
On
I feel
to
like
Carolina.
every year between picks 26 and 34, at least one Swedish defenseman who is
Gets-
6 foot
yeah.
180
gets
gets
taken
drafted.
just because they're like, yep,
Jay Fresh's projections are not projections. Those were a joke.
yeah.
If you looked at those and took those seriously, you didn't look at them long enough. He literally had made up players.
When has the last, or has it ever happened, that round 1 of the NHL draft had no trades?
I really wonder. It maybe is more recent than we remember.
It could be, but I can't remember one where there were 0 trades.
I was really drunk for last year's because the Avs didn't have a pick, so I don't really remember it.
There were trades.
So Carolina's on the clock right now. This is definitely Haltonen, right?
Just another Finn, throw it in the pile.
Because they just mine Finland over and over and over.
All right. If they take Nadeau at 31, can we just turn the stream off? Just cut it.
Do you want me to read what Craig Button had to say about Callum
Sure.
Ritchie?
Go for it.
It's long.
That's fine. We got time.
All right, he says, Callum Ritchie, I had a little bit of I don't know if it was a revelation. You know, Callum, who I've watched for a few years now, really gifted, skilled, and smart. And, you watch a player with that type of size and that type of skill, and I think we all become guilty of it. You start to think, oh, why doesn't he assert himself? Why doesn't he do more of this and more of that? And I thought in my own evaluation, I said, I think I'm being a little bit narrow-minded on him. So I went back and watched some games that I had been at and some other games that I had been at. And what I really noticed in my own view with Callum is he's really smart. He doesn't thrive in a chaotic kind of scatter type of game. So what he does is he plays really responsibly. He pulls back. He makes good plays. But he's not trying to always force things that don't fit to his mindset, his hockey sense, and his abilities. And I said, well, the game in the NHL is not chaos. It's not scattered. It's purposeful. And I felt that his game translates to the NHL in a real big way. The other thing that I would say, too, is we look at big players differently today than we did 10, 15 years ago. Power forwards 10 or 15 years ago ran over opponents. The game isn't as physical as it once was. And so maybe there was an expectation that Callum should run over people. And I said, that's not his game. His game is smart. And I really believe that his game translates to the NHL. Every tournament I've seen him at that had better or more high-end players, he's excelled. And I went back to my notes, and the things I wrote about Alex Tuch are exactly some of the things I wrote about Callum Ritchie. Alex Tuch is a top-notch player, and I see the same path for Callum Ritchie.
I mean, I hope that's true. I don't see it as much as Button does, but
that is by far the biggest selling point that we have had on Cal Ritchie.
If he turns into Alex Tuch, then I will happily eat crow for the rest of his career.
No kidding.
Here's my concern there.
Yeah, the high floor projection, I think, is a fair expectation here.
Okay, he's super smart. One, that explanation of him sounds a whole lot to me like safe as death.
Yeah.
And two, it doesn't matter how smart you are if you can't execute your plays at a certain level in the NHL. Now, clearly Buttons thinks he projects there, so that's a positive. You can take away that.
I will say that was Craig Button that wrote all that. I will say the comment in chat, I've already lost it, so it's gone now.
Whatever.
I forgot what it said. Oh, the one that says Factor 2.0. I've heard a couple of people compare him to Ryan O'Reilly and say very similar, except Ritchie was a better skater.
Sure. I don't know that there's the offensive consistency there out of Ritchie, but maybe. As Carolina takes Nadeau, so we don't have to end the stream. Colorado can't do it.
Great. I mean, even more reason for me at this point. It's
Get the hell out of here.
Ball, it's Gauthier, but it's really trade back, please.
Yep.
I know that Craig Button is a polarizing guy, but that guy,
he always gets a few right.
He gets a couple of them really right every year.
He misses a lot, but he gets a few perfectly spot on.
Yeah.
So you hope he's right about Callum Ritchie.
Yeah, and I mean, look, a guy that plays with a hurt shoulder all year long, there's no doubting the toughness and the commitment.
Totally.
Because if he misses all year because of a shoulder injury, rehabbing it, where does he get drafted?
Not in the first round.
He had to do it.
Yep.
So I will say, look, dude, you love that part of it. Yikes.
I'm glad we don't have to be the team trying to sort through a junior A player this year.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good on taking a guy from the BCHL.
We've done enough of that. We've done enough of that.
I'll say that, and I'll take his teammate. Look, it makes me feel better that Evan is also lukewarm on Cal Ritchie.
Yeah. There you go. There's 30 picks. 2 left to go. With 0 trades in 30 picks.
Oh, my God.
The world's most boring draft.
No kidding.
There wasn't even like... Obviously, we don't love Ritchie, and there was a couple of like oohs and ahs Carlson over Fantilli and Simashev going
Simashev
early.
at 6, yeah, and then
But
after that, it was really.
There hasn't been a ton of craziness.
It's very chalky. Can we get the draft board pulled back up real quick? The actual selections. I'm trying to think if I just memory hold one of them.
Like Charlie
Strammel,
Little out
yeah.
there is the only one.
Yeah. I think I might have blacked out. I was so happy that I didn't like a Minnesota pick.
Nah, Reinbacher's
I had heard a lot of Reinbacher at 5 leading up to it, so when they made that pick.
I think it's bad, but it's like 3 picks early at most.
Yeah, the big thing with Reinbacher was that Carey Price couldn't say his name.
That was weird. Yeah.
Weird, it was the highest of high comedy. Oh, the Avs are picking.
They're just
shit,
picking.
Dude. They're just doing
They don't
it.
care. They said, let's
All
go
right.
home. We're done.
They saw the Nuggets do it and said, I'm out.
Hey, at least we don't have to wake up early tomorrow.
This is a upside you can sell me on. I'm sleeping in.
Yeah.
I will not be awake for the first 3 rounds tomorrow.
Wake up at the start of round 5.
Yep. Look, I am saying this is either David Edstrom or Michael Hrabal.
I would be way less disappointed with Hrabal than Edstrom. But at least you would like Edstrom.
Okay, well, they're all sitting there. And now they're all standing
now
up.
They're getting up now.
I'm curious what becomes of Gianni Fairbrother.
I'm keeping my expectations low.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
a guy coming off of a,
Catastrophic knee
Yeah.
injury.
you're like, just pass the physical and it'll feel like
A
great,
win,
let's
yeah.
go. Although you had to think that there was probably a medical record shared between the teams before they
I would
agreed on that
assume
prospect.
There's some level of functionality there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Brindley would be fine here. I mean,
Yep. If it's a little early, like really, he should have been a trade back target, but if they
What
go
up,
D,
Betsy?
if they go a D, would it just be Morin? Is that the only one you'd really want?
there really isn't one right
Sure.
now. Cam Allen.
Let's see it. Okay,
All right.
so they go Gulyayev.
All right, so at this, I mean, this is pure value because
Yep.
this is a top 20 talent.
Yep.
This is an offensive defenseman. This is a very, very, very dynamic.
They just said he's the best person on
Yep.
the board.
This is
at
a
our
very
pick.
dynamic player.
I don't hate this.
I don't love it. It's fine. I tell you, the only reason I don't love it is because of what the Avs
Right.
already
That-
have.
that-
It has nothing to do with the player. The player I like quite a bit.
The problem is, how does he fit into the Avs NHL roster?
Yeah, well, and what is his timeline? Where is he going to play? What is the plan for him?
Yep.
You need to have answers to those questions. When you draft a Russian kid like this, you need to have something.
Yep.
I can already tell you, this guy, especially if Richie does not play at Dev Camp,
Yeah.
this guy's skating is
Gonna blow people
immediately
away. Yeah.
immediately going to jump off the ice. So this is I really have no complaints here. It's more of just the Avs
How
take
does he fit?
a
But-
small offensive defenseman.
But
And
look,
does anybody feel like that's the thing that they need?
I think there's a couple of angles here. One, if he plays well and retains some value, you can still move him later down the line, potentially. Two, if there's a world where he really pops off, he really figures it out and puts it together, maybe you live in a world 3 years from now where you're like, hey, maybe we move on from the last couple years of Sam Girard's contract
Yeah.
and let him step into that role. I certainly think there's more upside here than with Callum Ritchie. I'll put it that way.
It's not hard to look at this pick and think that Sam Girard gets traded someday.
Yep.
This guy does that.
Steps in and does the offensive side,
Yeah.
at least, of that.
Yep.
I will say it's an absolute tragedy for me because YouTube will not let me use Russian highlights. So no video breakdown for Gulyayev. You just have to take my words for it.
He's a lefty, I believe. So, all right.
And now just Vegas.
The lack of trade down doesn't feel great, but at least with this last pick, you're looking at Colorado, and honestly, with both picks, you're saying both of these guys have been widely ranked as top 20 guys, and they kind of just let them both fall in their lap and say, we're good.
It's knowing how it's shaken out now, I still think Ritchie at 27 is disappointing. But I don't think this draft is like a disaster or the Avs have failed miserably here or anything like that.
I will say it's not hard to sell me on the upside of Ritchie over Edstrom.
Edstrom's upside is non-existent.
As much as I like Edstrom, there was a hard cap that I felt was there.
The whole reason I didn't want anything to do with Edstrom is that dude is just not even a middle six player. Where there's a world where Callum Ritchie gets to that guy.
I mean, I think there's a decent chance they each end up as 3 Cs.
Sure.
But Ritchie has to bring more offense.
Yep. And I have concerns that will happen. But if you're asking me between Ritchie and Edstrom, I would take Ritchie and not feel good about it. I would have just felt really bad about the Avs taking Edstrom.
Yeah. Right there, certainly.
At 27 would have been so bad.
Yeah. With the way that board fell, them taking Edstrom would not have felt good, but now I have to watch tomorrow as somebody else takes Grayson Sachin, and I feel sadness.
Yeah. The Avs won't do that at least.
Well, I don't know. We're done. We're pretty much done. There's only one pick left.
Vegas is going to make their pick, and that'll be the end of the day. Really, a really uninteresting draft. Nothing cool happened.
I don't know what to write tonight.
What?
I said I don't know what to write.
Avs picked 2 dudes.
The Avs picked 2 guys who fell on draft boards, and they just scooped them up. If they had picked these guys in the reverse order, would we feel better about it?
No.
Okay. Me neither.
I think I might even feel worse about it in the other draft board, because at 31 I feel better about Gulyayev, and I don't feel good about Ritchie regardless.
The Avs don't have a second-round pick. I don't know how the Avs will get back into the second round. I think they're done until 155.
Yeah, they used that pick to trade for Ross Colton. So.
Yeah. And they didn't trade down. And there goes Edstrom.
Cool.
Great.
He can go be terrible in Vegas.
So we have the new Hook Krebs thing, and now we've got the Cal Ritchie, David Edstrom thing.
Like all the rest of their first-round picks, they're just going to trade him anyway. So.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the real question is, when Edstrom makes his NHL debut, what team is it for?
It's not Vegas,
It's
right?
not Vegas, man. It's not Vegas.
Okay.
Hey, you picked a center, you picked a defenseman. Your pipeline needs everything.
Yep.
It's a little weird. Gulyayev especially is I don't have a good feel on a timeline there.
Yeah.
With Ritchie, it's 3 years.
Yeah.
For me.
And certainly 2 minimum on Ritchie. Guyayev, I mean, you just don't know. Like, you have to go in and ask them, is he going to play in the KHL next year?
Yeah.
Is he coming over to North America?
I have no idea what's next for him.
Yep.
And that's going to change how I feel about
All right. Immediate thought. Guyayev and Ritchie, where are they on the Avs prospect list? 1, 2? Is Barron's better? Is Annunen better?
No, Barron's I don't think is better than Guyayev.
Okay.
He's really dynamic, man.
I like Guyayev. I'm here for the take.
He's really dynamic.
Is Guyayev 1 and Ritchie 2? Is Ritchie 3?
I think it's actually Russians at the top. I think it's...
If you're counting Kovalenko,
Yeah,
sure.
It's Guyayev, it's Kovalenko, and then I would say Richie Barron's Olausen. Nah, Foodie Olausen.
And then Annunen is his goalie, so you can't even put him on the list.
Annunen doesn't go on the same list.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just Annunen.
Okay, there's your full 32 picks of the first round.
Oh, man, I can't believe they actually sat tight there.
Not a single trade.
Yeah.
Not one.
Not one trade in the entire NHL, not one trade made today.
At least during the draft,
Sorry, tonight.
That's gotta be like, there's no way that's happened
Jesus
in like
Christ,
30
man.
years.
We
or
got all
something.
dressed up to play fucking shuffleboard.
No kidding.
We thought we were gonna play laser tag tonight.
Our mission from God was to make the draft interesting, it turns out.
Hopefully we did that. One of our viewers texted me and said, "Sorry you didn't get the child you wanted." And I just want to say that's very funny. That was very funny.
Yep.
Somebody let Quentin Musty know things got real weird here for about 15 minutes.
There was Thrusty, there was Busty.
You were going to get adopted by Lars Eller and then adopt Quentin Musty.
Yep.
It was going to be a whole thing.
We were going to have an adoption train. It was going to be awesome.
We are brought to you by Breckenridge Brewery. Again, they helped with us putting on this draft. So go show them some love. Get yourself some Breck Brews, whether you're celebrating the picks or you're drowning your sorrows that you didn't get Musty. Either way, Breck Brew has you covered.
He's going to get food and a drink after this.
But it's crowded down there, man.
It's even busier than it was 2 hours ago.
When's the PHNX show? We got to go tell them Shimashev's amazing.
We got to go do it basically right after this. We're supposed to e-cam in, so.
All right. Are we done here?
I think we are done here. We tomorrow, no live show. We will have a live recap after the draft is over.
After the draft, breaking down everything.
Talking about who they pick in rounds 5, 6, and 7. Since Edstrom's not going to be there for the 5th round for Rudo.
Look, in the 5th round, I'd be all about Edstrom. All right, slow down.
We'll have to talk about somebody else.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up. We appreciate all y'all hanging out with us. If you want to see more of our ugly mugs, the PHNX show, we are going to jump on and talk about their picks. We appreciate all y'all hanging out all night with us. It was fun. It was enjoyable.
Genuinely, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the Avs made 2 first-round picks. Is the thing that teams just don't do it that often.
Yep.
Well, good teams don't do it that often.
Yep. So now we get to talk about Callum Ritchie and Guyayev for a couple years. Or they'll trade them. Who knows? Anything is possible. We're out of here. We will talk to you on the next one.